Yo, loyals, how are y'all doing out there? Y'all already know you're linked into the number one show on YouTube, climbing the charts. And I just want to let you know that we appreciate you guys for jumping on our new channel. So we're no longer on the House of Harlem TV platform, but we're on House of Harlem studio platform. Y'all already know we got a hot topic, and there's a lot of people that's going to be in their feelings, but it is what it is. I'm going to wait till this room fill up before I give my disclaimer, but it's all good. I hope you guys are doing well. The sun is out, so we have to kind of not worry about the heat and really benefit from the heat instead of complaining about it. But neither I or you know what the outcome is going to be with this ongoing pandemic. Plandemic that's happening out there. So in the meantime, I just want you guys to stay warm, stay stay healthy, and do what you got to do. All right. I'm gonna wait till this room fill up. I know a lot of people has given their commentary in regards to a post I made today on the social media platforms, especially Facebook. And I've heard all of y'all understanding of what is. And this is an open forum discussion, adult discussion, all right, that we can have. And we've created a platform for it to happen. House of Harlem Studio. Y'all already know what it is. And to my loyal ones, hello, how y'all doing? All right. Let me get some of these notes out, and let me also tell my mama. We're going to be having some people that's going to call in, all right? And I'm going to make mention of what the topic is, so bear with me. My Facebook friends already have an idea of exactly what we're going to be talking about, but I just want to let you guys know, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. You're going to want to subscribe, because we're going to definitely have hot topics every Thursday, 8 p.m., all day, every day, all right? And you're going to want to stay linked in so that you can understand what is, even if you think it isn't, okay? And I'm excited. I'm so excited. And I just can't hide it. Because I know people are going to be about it. You see how I remixed that so fast? Some people were really in their feelings today. Some people were really in their feelings today. And I know I can get in my feelings. So, I can imagine. I could just imagine. I could just imagine. So, outside of the question, and I don't know if the moderator would be able to put this long ass question in the description box, but the question was asked on all of my social media platforms. It was asked, and I want to read it exactly how I wrote it. So there will be no misunderstandings there. And the question was asked without mentioning any names. By the way, no names mentioned. All right? No allegations necessarily said. It was just a question. And the question is a gay male who have failed marriages qualified to give heterosexual women relationship advice? All right? That's what the question is. But I would go as far as to say heterosexual females or males. It doesn't really even matter. And we will be reading a lot of the comments because the comments were very interesting. But we also will have some special callers calling in, and we also will keep the our call line open so that you can have a voice. You can voice your opinion. Whether you disagree or agree, it doesn't really matter. The whole point is that everyone has the right to their opinion. Now, there are going to be some situations in the conversation where certain things are facts. Facts are facts, right? And we just going to allow a fact to be a fact. And that's what it's going to be. But for the most part, a lot of people had a lot to say on my build. And I want them to keep that same energy tonight. So let's get it. Moderator, you want to go on a small commercial break if possible? Yes, 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 yes. What's poppin', you guys? Y'all already know y'all linked in to House of Harlem studio. Thank you guys for coming on. It's going to be a very interesting topic, a very heated topic, but we will get through it tonight. If you haven't subscribed, I suggest that you subscribe. This is a different platform and a different channel for all my House of Harlem loyals. All right, we're about to get it in very soon. And the topic of discussion today is, all right, bear with me, no judgment, is a gay male who have failed marriages qualified to give heterosexual women relationship advice? So I definitely need y'all on deck. Make sure you tag everybody in, because I want to hear everyone's opinion. I need to hear everyone's opinion in regards to this. Now, y'all notice that I didn't say anyone's name, but when I posted this question, particularly on Facebook, everyone went in, okay? Feelings were definitely involved in the building, and they had mentioned a certain individual. You know, they automatically assume I was talking about him, and we just pretty much going to get into it. We're going to have an adult conversation, all right? And we hope that people can be respectful at all times during this, okay? So this show is in no way designed to offend or attack anyone's rights, views, or preferences. We aim to inform the people of information, okay? And to educate and entertain. So with that being said, I don't want, no one to come on here and disrespect anyone walk of life. But this is a topic that must be discussed. I have questions. I need answers. I'm a teacher, but most importantly, I am a student. So I am here to learn. All right? But we're going to have to be respectful. We're going to have to be respectful. For those of you who are just coming in, we're going to have some callers give their commentary about what's going on. So I'm gonna let some people fill the room up. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let it get open, because I want a good amount of people on here so that we could really have an open discussion and also listen to other people's viewpoints about it. I am going to read some comments. I'm going to read some comments. They were very interesting, nevertheless to say. If any of you were on my Facebook platform, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to read these comments. I'm also going to see if my moderator could play a little short part or piece of certain videos that I did send him. There's no guarantee for that. We're going to have Auntie Leslie come on to kind of open the platform, because I've learned is one that is most qualified to speak about this individual, because she's listened to quite a few of his videos. Okay, so I want you to just be patient with me. All right, but this is gonna be very, 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 very interesting. How are you guys doing out? In the meantime, I just want to touch base on the health. I know it just seems like it's hot. The heat wave is out there, and it's been we had like a little heat wave a day or two, but just stay positive when it comes to the summer. Just really stay positive. This is the time where outside of it being hot, you can really concentrate on detoxing, concentrate on meditation, concentrate on deep breathing, also concentrate on just really absorbing all that the sun has to give to you in a healthy way, right? So you don't want to get overheated and then pass out, but certain peaks of the day to really utilize and sun gaze, stay in the sun for the vitamin E and all of that good stuff. This is the time. Take the available time to do that. Is Auntie Leslie here on the platform? Let me see who's on the platform right now, because that's the person I need to kind of like just open some things up. I want to say, yes, she is. Peace to Crazy World. Peace to YG. Peace to ArcTX Vision. All right. Peace to the gods. Peace to everybody. Be patient with us because we trying to flood the gates right now. And I hope that the people who had all these comments on Facebook come on here, because I mean, this was like over 100 comments on Facebook. People were really, they were really in their feelings. They were really in their feelings. And so it was very interesting to me. So hopefully they jump on. If not, we still gonna have our discussion anyway. Some people feel like it's not worth it. Some people feel like it is. But it is what it is. Also, there has been a couple of things that has happened over the week. One of them was a big fight that happened with Floyd Mayweather, and I also wanted to know what you guys think about that. A lot of people were saying that, you know, it was kind of like staged for money purposes, and he didn't really put his best foot forward, so to say, and he didn't do his best purposely, you know, because I'm hearing that even in the sport of boxing, sometimes things are kind of like negotiated in a way. So it's like, all right, you know what, although you can beat this person or whatever the case might be, we don't want you to beat them. We want you to just, you know, jab him up a little bit. And where's my pocketbook? Jab him up a little bit. Don't really knock him out. And so we can kind of like maybe have him win, have it be a tie, or possibly be in preparation for another fight. So I want to know what you guys think about that. Floyd Mayweather is definitely he's good at his craft. He can come off as a little arrogant sometimes, but I do believe and expect growth from each individual person. So I feel like, you know, as you start to get older, what happens is you start to become humble. You start to become humble, and you start to see life a little bit differently. So I don't know. Let me know what it is. We're about to start. I'm gonna see if I can connect with Auntie Leslie on the back end and give her this number. All right, well, the number is there. Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna get Auntie Leslie on the line. She's gonna start it off for us. And I had a really interesting conversation with her earlier today, and I was like, I definitely have to have her on. She made a lot of sense, and she's definitely qualified to speak about it, because the whole point is that a lot of us may have only seen some little clips, or we may have seen one show or two shows, but the more you've seen about this particular person, the more you're more qualified to give your commentary about them. So let's hear Auntie Leslie. Peace, how are you doing?
How are you? I appreciate you having me on.
Wow, I'm honored to have you on. I'm so honored to have you on. Thank you for coming on. This is a pretty much hot topic, and we can look at it from so many different angles. I feel like since first of all, I just want to reread what I had posted on Facebook before, and a lot of people were in their feelings, in my opinion, but it's all good, you know, it's all good. And I had asked, is a gay male who have failed marriages qualified to give heterosexual women relationship advice? And I was like blown away at all of the comments. And so I'll let you speak about it, because obviously I'm going to say this name. A male by the name of Kevin Samuels has gone viral because of him giving relationship advice to primarily melanated women, aka black women.
Yeah.
It's not limited to, but majority of his fan base are black women. You can correct me if I'm wrong. He kind of went viral when he kind of was very blunt. Some people say he was disrespectful and degrading. Some people viewed that one particular or two particular videos as being degrading or disrespectful, and some say no, he was just being very blunt. But whatever it is, that one particular video made him go viral. So I wanted to ask you, like, how long have you been watching him? How long have you been watching him?
I would say pretty intently for the last year.
Wow, that's a long time. That's a long time. So you definitely you're best qualified to give your commentary on this man. A year.
The last year. Yeah, he's been on for a while. But I would say that, to be very, very honest, it seems to me that he is like quite a few men who's actually, as I stated before, is actually dealing with having a personality disorder. It seems like he's dealing with narcissistic personality disorder.
Wow. I've heard many things about this man, but you know what? I heard something close to that. I did hear something close to that. I did hear a sister give her assessment, and it wasn't a great one. And she did say that he has some sort of bitterness towards melanated women. Some woman must have did him wrong, or his mother must have treated him wrong, and because of that, he is bitter. But an actual diagnosis, never heard that one before. What make you say that? Like, why do you feel like he's a narcissist?
Well, I have my own issues as far as mental health is concerned, and I took a great length of time in learning the different, personality and mental illnesses and disorders. I've been dealing with depression for 20 years, and it wasn't until about 4 years ago I started taking my mental health very seriously. And thanks to the opportunity that came along for me on the Bonita Show TV and radio network,
Bonita Show.
I got involved in becoming a podcaster. Ooh. And I'm kind of a geeky kind of, quirky kind of person, and I can say that I'm pretty nosy. So it kind of came to be my calling to do this as well. I mean, it intrigued me so much. I'm nosy as hell. And
I love you.
And I decided, I've always had an interest just to learn as much as I could about. I don't know about everything. I just having to dabble in it. So I guess journalism I just discovered that it kind of fit me. But what I've noticed is that in our society today, and not only just socially, but in my personal experiences, how can I put it? The one thing I'm also an artist. And I looked this up not too long ago. I can't remember the gentleman's name. But he said something that intrigued me, and I started to apply it when it comes to analyzing things. People imitate art more than, or life imitates art more than art imitates life. And I think that that's actually very, very true.
Wow. And, okay.
And also, I come from a gospel perspective, so I read my Bible a lot, and I take a lot of insight from that. And so when the opportunity came up on the Bonita Show TV and radio network, of course, shout out to my boss lady, Mrs. Bonita Show.
Shout out to
and,
Bonita.
My favorite one, Pillow Talk.
What?
My favorite show. Yeah, she be having me in church up in all in Chillicothe. Okay?
Tell me about it.
I know I ain't supposed to be on there. Y'all gotta pray for me. I'm not that same. But I pray for y'all. Way to go.
Right.
That's a long way to go. But I've kind of been at war with ideology and doctrine because God tells us that that we're wicked. We're wicked hearted. Secular word would be negative or toxic. Okay, there's nothing different under the sun. There's just the Bible side and the worldly secular side.
Okay.
But there's nothing. The same crap is going on. Okay. Biblically, it would be called arrogance and pride.
Wow.
Secularly, secularly. Well, is there a word called secularly? Don't put that to me, y'all. But anyway.
Hey, listen, we do Ebonics. It is all good. It is all good, all right? We don't have to be politically correct on this platform, but go ahead. Grammatically correct, but go ahead.
But on the secular side, it would be considered, proximity or negativity. Right. And I would definitely say that, of course, his analyzing comes from a specific angle that I would probably say most of his followers, a lifestyle that most of us probably don't even really have. I mean, he's talking about being a high-value man.
Right.
And I'm not going to lie to you, for me, the women who believe that they're going to get a high-value man and his perspective of a high-value man and these standards, they're both quite far-fetched. Both sides are.
That's interesting. So that's not the reality of the norm. That's not the reality of a norm. So what is according to him, what is a high quality man?
As a regular civilian, a man would be a man who, I think most men really understand what head. I think that they don't seem to know that, yes, they should budget the finances. They do have.
You're breaking in and out for some reason, but go ahead.
Sorry. Maybe, let me see if I can move here. You know how it is here?
Oh, you went totally out. Yeah, we can't hear you at all now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think where you were standing at before was kind of good.
You can't hear me?
Yes, I can hear you great now. I can hear you great. Yes.
Okay. All right. I think that we don't really have a good definition of how we're supposed to work together.
Right.
And being a biblical person, we don't realize how much subliminally, how much we pick up.
Yes. We don't have a dummies guidebook. Yes.
We don't realize how much unconscious knowledge we take in and just resonate it. We don't know. But men, of course, got to be in the headship, and women are supposed to be the followers or submissive to their husband.
Right.
And of course, coming from a biblical perspective.
Can you hold on 1 minute, Auntie Leslie? Hold on 1 minute. Somebody else is calling in. Hello, caller. I'm going to connect you in, but I just want you to hold on the line while Auntie Leslie can continue with her commentary. I'm sorry about that, Auntie Leslie, for cutting your wisdom, but you can continue.
Yeah, but I don't think that men really know exactly what headship really means.
Okay.
The Bible does woman should be submissive in every single thing. But anything can go too far. Even your idea of what you believe is. We literally read the Bible, or we literally listen to specific points of ideology, but we never really intellectually look at the subliminal teaching that could be given as well. Like, that's what needs to be brought forth. What are we subliminally learning? And a lot of times we can learn it and we can be doing it, but that's why we don't have the knowledge.
Right, like all these memes that are coming up, all these memes that are coming up on the internet about men and about women, and whether we want to claim to be conscious or not, what's happening is we are internalizing this. So even with this specific man, Kevin Samuels, he's speaking about so much, but there are people who are literally, kind of like in their feelings in regards to what is and isn't. And that's where, today I really want to break some things down, because there are some truths and there aren't, and there's some opinions. And that's what it is.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I honestly feel like a lot of his what he's doing probably has more to do with inner turmoil and his life experience than anything else, because it seems very personal.
Okay, so all the videos that you've watched, you say it's personal. Do you feel like, so when you say narcissist, can you give me some ideas? Like, what is he saying on his platform that give you that idea? Because I've watched a lot of clips, but I haven't really sat down and listened to like all of the shows. I've watched maybe one or two, but I kind of got bored with it and just dismissed it. You know what I'm saying? But like, can you give me some ideas when you say that? Especially because you have a great experience, a personal experience, along with you've listened to him. You were listening to him, and for a whole year, that's a long time. That's a really long time.
Yeah, and I mean, his lives are long. They're like 1 or 2 hours long. I've actually sat down and listened to several for 1 or 2 hours at a time, yes.
Wow. And so did you find him contradicting himself?
Quite often.
Wow.
One young lady came in, and she said she wanted a high-value man. She was married to a doctor. She left him because he got to the point where he wanted to be a polygamist.
Oh.
And when he was critiquing her as a woman, how tall are you? What's your dress size? What do you rank yourself as? A dime piece or one? She said maybe a 7.
Okay.
He goes, no, you can't say 7. I can't do 7. No, 7 is safe. You can't say 7.
Right.
So she said, well, a 5. He goes, no, you can't say 5 either. 5 is a safe number.
Okay,
and
so
he
what
goes,
is it?
What kind of woman would you think is a dime piece? She said Beyonce. She goes, no. He goes, no, Beyonce is not a dime piece. She's not a 10. She's an 8. 3 videos before that, he said Beyonce is a dime piece. I don't know how many times he's been saying Beyonce was a dime piece and referenced her as a dime piece in several other videos.
But then in this particular
That's called coercion.
Wow, that surely is. That's a great example right there. Yes.
Yeah, he's making her think everything that she thinks. He's telling her every single thing that she thinks is wrong. Then when he told her how she was to act and getting down to the right dress size, she was listening, and she was kind of like, she was animated. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because what are you doing? Did you just roll your eyes at me? And she was like, no, I didn't. I'm just expressive. I'm just expressive. No, you're not. It's disrespectful. Like, making her question every single thing she's doing. She's telling him, and I mean, she came on his platform very respectful.
Okay.
She wasn't loud. trying to get help, but every single thing is wrong. And a narcissist will do that because they want you to be completely dependent on them and how they see things in the world. A narcissistic person believes that they're the most special, important person, and the way they believe things should be is the way the whole world should be.
Wow. Now, I sent you a picture today, and although a picture is just a picture, and they do say a picture is worth 1,000 words, with that picture and with you seeing him for a whole year speak, the way his gesture is, the way he is, do he give off any kind of idea that he is suspect? Does he give any idea if... Yes.
I didn't think so. I don't think he is.
Okay.
That doesn't stop him from being a supreme jerk. But I think he's Metro. Seriously. I think he's seriously Metro.
What is Metro? Meaning by?
And that picture, of a guy laying down, I didn't really see whether he was clothed or anything. The one where the guy's laying in the bed, he's just laid up.
Right.
But usually I can tell by the way a man stands. And he didn't seem to have that stance.
Did you see him stand before? Because there's some pictures of that too. There's another one where he's standing and the way he's standing.
I've seen a lot of them on the Instagram page. Like, he did some partial ones where there was different blocks where he was standing and grabbing his jeans. But,
right.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible.
Right.
But I don't, he doesn't give me the feeling that he is gay. But if you want to talk about a complete alpha male, I mean,
he's not
narcissistic. He may be even verging on the side of sociopathy. Really, he's one of those men who believes that because they're in charge, he's more superior. It's my way or the highway. And there are a lot of men out there that are straight that they think the same way.
So I want to ask you, let's just play devil's advocate and say if he was, in your opinion, would his sexual preference have anything to do with his message? Should it affect what his message is all about? Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. The call had dropped. All right. Can you call Byron for me? Can you call him back? Sorry about that, guys, man. Shout out to you guys. I'm going to read this question again. Is a gay male who have failed marriages qualified to give heterosexual women relationship advice? That is the question. That is the actual question of the day. I want to give a disclaimer. We're not here to bash anyone of any of their sexual preferences, the LGBT community, the heterosexual community, male and female. Whatever your preferences is fine. We just want to have adult conversations, right? But we also want to build, and we want to give people an overall view about relationships, because as a race of people and a nation of people, we are going through some things. And it's unfortunate that sometimes people get notoriety and get a platform, and they'll take certain truths, speak about it, but then wind up with being what people call a fraud. So we're just trying to figure this out. That's all. We want to have adult conversations. We're going to definitely be reading y'all commentaries on the screen. I see people are talking about it. They're writing about it, and I'm going to get to you guys in a minute. Peace. How are you doing? Byron?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Okay.
All right. She mentioned a quality man. I think I have a different. It is biblical based in certain regards, but I believe a quality man should know how to love and honor his woman. and that and pride and ego does not have a place in that.
She
Does that
kind of
make
mentioned,
sense?
right? She kind of mentioned that. But let me ask you a question: are you familiar with Kevin Samuels, and have you listened to any of his videos? Because it appears that a quality man, in his opinion, and he has gained a extremely large platform for his philosophy and understandings about relationship and being a relationship counselor, if I'm correct, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong about his title. But you know, it has a lot to do with finances more than anything. What do you think about that?
Well, only thing I know about him is when you spoke about him in guest shows and others.
Right.
So no, I have not listened to his platform.
Okay.
Well, I'm a dude. I don't have to listen to his platform, but I don't know if the platform is for women, or for couples, or for what. I don't know what his show is about.
Right.
But I think that should men be providers? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the tables providing and money standpoint, I think the tables have changed in the last 50 years. Where
50?
when we were in an agrarian society, am I coming in clear? Is that okay?
Yes.
Am I coming in okay?
Yes.
Okay. When we was an agrarian society, and before 1940, when women were not working, of course the man had to support and take care of all the finances. Okay, the majority of families. But now in today's world, in 2021, you have a lot of women working. A lot of women have succeeded, man. And hey, I remember I was dating this woman. She was making up to $600,000 a year. And I was thinking,
Exactly. Did you feel some type of way? Did you feel any type of way when I'm making that type of money?
I was proud of her. Are you kidding me? And she had a fabulous home. And see, I'm not insecure. When I see a person, when I see a man or woman doing well, particularly if they're elevated, I'm happy for them.
Absolutely.
So I didn't feel insecure in that way at all. Even though I was making less than her, there were things that I knew I could buy her. Like she wanted this and with this bag, and I was like, give me $100 for a pocketbook. And I was like, that's for her. And I was like, I'm paying off this $10. You know, we wasn't at the place where she just had money and that type of stuff does not make
You a high quality man.
some men that money with the buyer, they control any aspect of a woman's life. And that is wrong.
And that be do you consider that a narcissist if you just want absolute control and no one? Because I think that's what Auntie Leslie was trying to get to, that this person just wants absolute and total control and don't really want just don't want no one's opinion, and you must listen to them even if they contradicted themselves. It doesn't matter. Do you consider that to be a narcissist?
Here's to continue this, that I believe true love is freedom. True love is and you're shocked. I just want to tell you real quick on YouTube.
Hold on 1 minute, Watch. You're gonna have to. All right, so YouTube. Yeah, no.
There's music playing over.
Okay, that's not a problem. But go ahead, continue, Byron. We're listening. You can watch it. You can just text him. Okay.
Like modern men have lost what it is to honor and cherish. Like you gotta
So let me ask you a question. You said modern men have lost what? Can you repeat that again?
modern men have lost how to cherish and honor and love.
But a lot of modern men, I'm sorry to cut you off, a lot of modern men are complaining about the stance of the the melanated woman. We have attitudes. We don't want to take anyone's opinion or advice, and so many other things. So I'm hearing you say that, and it's just very interesting to me because that's not what I'm hearing on the other end from some men. Not all, but some men. But so what do you think about that? Because you seem to look at melanated women in a really great high regards, but other men are not seeing that.
Well, I personally put melanated, first of all, not I feel, I prefer a melanated. I've never been, it's just not appealing to me, okay?
Right, which, okay.
Melanated, in my opinion, can identify with my life struggle. The struggle of my ancestors, okay?
I agree.
If you go back and look at what Native women that stuck together because they don't need to lay it down.
So let me ask you a question. Hold on. Guys, if you hear any music in the background, my engineer is going to fix that. Sorry. I hope that you guys can hear him clearly outside of the music in the background. I do apologize for that. All right. So let me know if you hear music in the background. Can you please read the comments to see what's going on? Because I'm just kind of confused as to why there's music. Okay, Byron, I have to ask you a question. I have to ask you a question. And this is the question I had asked before, because I don't want us to get off topic. And the question is a gay male who have failed marriages qualified to give heterosexual women relationship advice?
I would think no. And here's why I would think no. Because if he's gay and his main experience is with another man,
right,
then another man has basic needs.
Right.
A woman, like the top three things of a man, a lot of times it's sex, then it's trust, and then it's communication.
So in that order,
In a woman,
can you repeat that again?
Yeah.
Can you repeat that again?
Not in that order. The top thing in a woman is security, communication, and trust. You know, like it's a different order than men. So
absolutely.
How can you give a man another heterosexual when all he knows is a man's point of view, even though the man may be feminine.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I got to take marital advice. Like when I was married, my wife and I, we were marriage counselors. You know what I mean? And we knew what it was because all marriages go through some struggle. Right. Go through some ups and downs. Okay? So now, how can he give a woman's perspective unless he hurts a woman? I literally, if you love and honor your wife or your significant other, then you have to listen to her. And you have to understand what her needs are. And sometimes you have to put her needs before your needs.
Right.
And that's hard for some men to do. And that takes strength of character. See, we lost character. Only thing we know is like TV love and what we've seen in TV. But we have all this quick stuff. We have a lot of people have not been exposed to true love.
A lot of people haven't been exposed to true love. All right, so let me read some of the comments that were made on the social media on Facebook when I asked the same question. So now we have two different situations happening. We have a question asked from a perspective of this person being gay, giving heterosexual females advice, and it doesn't have to be limited to females; it can be males. But then we also have this person having failed marriages. So someone asked, is women who have failed marriages and relationships, which are our aunties, mothers, sisters, etc., qualified to give other women relationship advice. And then she said, side note, we hear songs and saying from our ancestors how men should be great, treat women, but now not how women should treat men. Well, I'm here to tell you, sis, that I disagree with that. In history, I've watched many documentaries where women are groomed and trained to treat men a certain type of way, or in preparation to be prepared to treat her husband, respect her husband, to be submissive to her husband. So I disagree. In Africa, women are having genital mutilation and their vagina sewed up for who? A man. To make sure that she's preserved for her man. And history in China, I don't know, somewhere in the 1900s, Chinese women had their feet wrapped to the whole point where their feet kind of like started curving under, because it was said that in order to get a good husband, you would have to have small feet. In certain places in Africa, there are men who like big women, and they are literally like overfeeding their daughters certain type of milk and food so they can be big. So I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, but there is there is parts of history where women are trained to treat men a certain kind of way, aka coming to America, hop like a dog. Not to say that men are not told to treat women good too, but is on both ends of the spectrum. Another thing is, from my understanding, no. Aunties and mommies and grandmas who have failed marriages, although, and like he said, after the 1930s is when things had a turnaround, right? I think this is right after the Great Depression. Auntie Leslie was talking about it. So I want to ask you another question in regards to this, Byron, because this is very, very important. Obviously, before the 1920s or the 1930s, I'm not quite sure what it is, right? I think this is right after the Great Depression. How did we get to this point where now women are working more so and men are not in the home, right? Auntie Leslie had mentioned that men left the homes, but I kept asking her, like, why? But why did this happen? She said because there were no jobs available, and men want to provide, and so because of that, they kind of just went away and went astray, and women kind of like was left to fend on their own and make things happen. And I think that's when the transition happening. Do you agree or disagree to that?
I totally agree with that, because what happened is happening through World War II, where a lot of men went off to war, and you had something called Rosie the Riveter. He was now working in factories.
Okay.
Working in factories and stuff like that. Jobs that were productive started filling those roles.
Okay. I'm sorry, whoever. Yeah, how you doing? I'm so sorry. Is this Auntie Leslie? Who's on the line?
No, this is Miss Benita.
Hi, Miss Benita. How are you doing? Miss Benita from the Benita Show. Can you just give us a few minutes? We have Byron talking about the Great Depression. Just hold on, stay put. You can just mute out until then. All right? Thank you. I'm sorry, Byron, for cutting your wisdom.
Okay. No problem. I'm just sharing how the women's place in the workplace happened during World War II, and then from there on. And then in the 60s it changed. In the 80s, then we start seeing women executives, and then it just starts shooting where feelings for women in the office place or the workplace start to be shattered. Now, we had a few exceptions, like the 1920s, they had some black men in it, with the air officers, this, that, the other, but who was a woman, this, that, the other. But I'm just saying, for overall, from the masses of women in particular, they started to blossom financially after 1940. So, if that answers your question as far as the financial side is concerned, and when you look at this of the cultures, yes, because I'm very familiar with how the Chinese they break their toes and business activities before few, but that custom has been abolished for quite some time now.
Right.
They recognize there are some cultural things that define relationships in this culture,
Right.
So you do have those cultural barriers. So I thought you were just talking about women in America in relationship here,
because we have our own type of culture. We have some
Yes, we
cultures
do.
where family is fully emphasized, and that's not as much here like it is in
Right.
Greece or
Right.
Italy or in South Africa, so, and China, and you know. So
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. Sister Alfisha made mention of different cultures and what's the difference between us and them. But yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So again, I think now men, particularly men, if we want to lose our ego, let's set aside our ego, because you know, if you're alpha male, you still be a loving, kind, and considerate husband, or man to your significant other. But again, we got this. Or this woman, she's whipping you. You know, where does it come from? Because you love her? Because you buy her flowers? Because you buy her nice things? Oh, she got you whipped? Oh, she got you pussy whipped. What is that?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Got you whipped? So we have a war sense. And in my opinion, a lot of it is rooted in selfishness and ego.
I appreciate your commentary. I really appreciate that. Byron, I want you to stay on because I don't want to keep Benita holding on in the back, because I have another question for you, because I really want to know, because of this Great Depression, has it brought a wedge between a male and female till today? And I really would like Auntie Leslie to call back in and continue, because she's best qualified to speak about Kevin Samuels and her observation and give her commentary. Benita, how are you doing? Yes, how are you doing?
I'm good, baby. Hi, Byron.
I've been waiting for somebody to say that, but anyway, go ahead. I know I have a quirky laugh, you guys. What's going on? I love Byron, man. He always keep it real.
So my thing was, I wanted to speak on, because earlier, me, you, and Leslie was on talking about this, and you sent me the picture. So what I did with the picture was, I did a poll. I sent the picture out to 50 people. 50.
Okay.
Out of the 50, only 5 said that he was not gay.
Wow. Now, out of these
50 people, I said, when you look at this picture, do you see a straight or gay man? 45 people said gay, 5 said straight.
Out of all those, the people out of the 45 that said yes, were any of those guys gay males? Did they consider themselves gay? Because I feel like they would be best qualified, although it's just a picture, but a picture's worth 1,000 words. So are any of those people gay?
Yes. Gay. I had all aspects. I didn't want to just cater to one demographic. So
Right.
I sent it out to 5 gay males that I knew, 5 gay females that I knew.
Okay.
And then I sent it out. Then I also sent it out to several straight males and females, just to get a mix up of everything, to see what was people thinking about this.
Wow. That's very interesting.
And honestly, it's sad but true, but all the gay people said he was gay. I didn't have one of them that said he wasn't.
Okay, I would love for one of them to call in, especially if they've listened to him or seen a little clip of him, because they definitely would be best qualified to give their commentary.
I did ask them to call in and everything, and I did go and I screenshot the number on here and I sent that out too.
Okay, they may be on the platform. We're going to definitely read some comments in the chat in about like 2 minutes anyway. But I appreciate you giving me that reel. I mean, it's a picture.
A lot of people said it was his facial expression and the way he held his hand. Like, it's a lot of things they said gave him away.
Right. Now, people would say, even if that's the case, there are people who would say, even if that's the case, that don't have anything to do with his message. Well, I'm here to tell you that I personally heard him say that he's not. So that means that he would be a liar. And for someone who really wants to see, our community do well, and for melanated people to come together and start building, right, and building our relationship, that is a big red flag. All right. And for number two, as certain people have stated, if you had marriages and they were with females, right? And then all of a sudden you may be into men, maybe you're whatever. And it really doesn't matter what it is. We have to love all. But I'm just trying to say is that you are given now, that looks kind of funny that now you're really on this side of the spectrum. You're not really dealing with with women anymore like that, or you haven't come forth and said you were dealing with women like that. And then now you want to give your commentary or give your expertise to heterosexual women. I'm going to read a comment that a man had made on the post on Facebook today. Okay, I already have read the question to you guys, and this is what he had to say. Once again, the question is a gay guy qualified? Is a gay male who have failed marriages qualified to give heterosexual women relationship advices? All right. One male asked, one male stated, let's get to his thing. And I appreciate each and every person who took the time out to give their commentary, because it meant the world to me. These are very intelligent people who have platforms, people who have studies of all walks of life, and they came on to just give their idea of what it is. So he said, absolutely not. Heterosexual men and women should be listening to heterosexual people to guide them. Let them speak to their own. Okay? Let them speak to their own. So another person had made a statement to me, right, in regards to whether, even if he had failed marriages, was he even qualified for that? And he asked, is a crackhead qualified to give advice on how to not smoke crack? And my answer is twofold. If that crackhead is still smoking crack, is the person, and he's giving advice on not how to not smoke crack, is that person really going to listen to him? So is a person going to listen to the action, or is the person going to listen to the word? Now, if that crackhead, or it would be an ex-crackhead, no longer is smoking crack, and he or she chooses to counsel people on why it's not good, then I think that would speak more volume. But it's like me. I could be smoking a cigarette, right? And I'm telling my children, don't smoke cigarettes. Cigarettes aren't good for you. But they see me standing there smoking a cigarette. Are they really going to value my words when they see me still doing the action? Right? So that's my answer to that. Now, if they don't see me do it, and even if they used to see me do it, but they see I don't do it anymore, I think that my action is going to have more power behind my message than for me doing it. So that's my question. What do you guys think about that? Byron did make mention that he was a marriage counselor, but things didn't go well, and it's all good. I'm pretty sure he still can give his commentary on certain experiences, but he would, if he chose to still be a marriage counselor, I'm pretty sure that, if anyone knew that he had got a divorce, they may mention it, right? They may mention, well, how you going to give me advice and you're not even with her? There's a possibility.
Right.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. Being married for 20 years, a lot of people can't say that. Cannot make that claim.
That's a long time.
But I also complain to that same person that me and my ex-wife have been best friends ever since. I didn't have a hard divorce. Like, I hugged and kissed her goodbye when she was leaving. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We just grew apart. You know what I mean? Were there some issues? Yes. But
absolutely.
I would honestly say 18 years of my marriage, I was happily married. It wasn't until the last year that things really came apart. So can a person still get married or wife? Yes, because now I know the mistake not to do.
Right?
Now,
you shouldn't do that.
She's going to be a better wife knowing how to treat a man now.
I can
Just
tell
like
you that.
I'm gonna be a better husband because I'm just gonna be a better husband.
To my
Now
next
I know.
marriage. Right.
You know, I knew then, but now I know better.
Right. But right. So it's like you start a new marriage and you know what not to do based off of your last experience, right? That's how I feel. I feel like, in my new relationship, I know what I don't want and I know what I'm not going to accept and I know what not to do. Cuz I did it before and I wasn't too good at it. But I'm not married and I know that people are going to take it with a grain of salt, or they're not going to take me serious until I'm married and I'm in there for a certain amount of time to be like, all right, she takes this serious, especially now, because marriage is like drinking water. It's like, it's really nothing right now. And so that's what it is. I want to read another comment because a lot of people had a lot of things to say, and I don't know if Alfisha is on here, but I really wanted her to call in and give her commentary about something, or she can elaborate on it. I'm going to read what she said because a brother was trying to compare our culture with other cultures and why a Mexican women are like this, why an Indian women good to their men and they don't have any issues, why this and why that. And I'm paraphrasing here, but I really want her to call in to give her commentary about it. She made some profound statements. First and foremost, the Mexicans really practice group economics. I remember reading a news article, and it's really deep with them. They literally pulled out a stove to make sleeping space because they were all cramped in a small room. I'm talking about the husband and wife, the wife's mother and father, the husband's mother and father, the sisters and her husband are all in one room. So what they're doing is practicing group economics by making sure they hold on to their money, right? All have to participate in paying rent so that they can get to another status in life. I remember back in the day, Mexicans were literally working for $2 and $3 an hour, and now they're not accepting anything less than $15 or $20 an hour. But they worked hard collectively to do that. And Alfisha pointed out that the melanated men and people in our community are making babies, but making babies is not going to solve our problem, because he was stating that we only have two options. Either we kind of like practice one man have to have multiple families, or I don't know what the other option is. I want to read exactly what he wrote. But one of them is one man is going to have two families, and the other one is going to have to, I don't know. I don't know what other type of family setting it is. But she has said that our situation is different because the average man is not going to really allow everyone to live in a household like that. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to allow another man to be staying in a household, cousins and everyone else, and really come together collectively and pay the rent so everybody else could, everybody could save their money and get to another status in life. All right? So let me read what he said. So I'm going to read what Alfisha said first. She said that this person literally took the words out of her mouth, and we got to see about us, and we need more healthy, responsible leaders who are in marriage to speak up. However, those same men have to be labeled simps, just like what Byron was talking about, right? And pushed away by toxic black men. The flip side of things is we had one married man who spoke up, and his team, his name was Derek Jenks. Remember Derek Jenks? If I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, he turned out to be a fraud and a liar. And we got couples, preachers, but they liars too. So basically it comes to giving guidance of a health union. There's too many hypocrisies. I'm sorry if I'm messing up your sentences, Alfisha, but she's pretty much saying that we don't have good leaders out there. We don't have good leaders. There's too much hypocrisy, and even some of the preachers some of the people who has notoriety, like on YouTube or whatever, who's talking about relationships, even them, they come out to be frauds. And this is a big problem. Hold on 1 minute, guys. Hold on 1 minute. Somebody else is calling in. But Byron, you can speak until then.
Yeah, I believe there are some hypocrites, but again, I always feel a man should lead in all good things in a relationship. He should be the first one to lead in forgiveness, in love.
Wow.
In sex,
You're just too perfect.
And share. And I also believe, now, and I know this may be contrary to some people, that a relationship should not be a 50-50 thing. It should be 100-100. You should give all that you can to this woman, and then this woman should give all that she can to you. I really believe, I'm foolish enough to believe, and I believe a good woman's going to come into my life, that if I give her my all, then she will give me her all.
Okay, I want you to hear that. I want you to say that, but you believe that it should not be a 50-50? Someone had called in, engineer. I don't know who it is, so I don't know.
I'm with him.
I believe you should
I believe you should give 100 as well, Byron.
Yes. So if you give 100, then you teach her to give 100, and she'll give all that she gives you. If I give her my best, then she'll give me her best. Bad and be selfish and stingy and inconsiderate. Now I'm saying please her to be the same.
I hear you, and I want some other men to call in. I want some men who disagree with that. There are a lot of men who disagree with that, and I'm not understanding why they're not calling in, because they just feel women are not worthy of that. Someone is calling in. Hold on 1 minute. Hello, how are you doing? Who's calling in? Hello? Hello? All right, I guess that person got disconnected. I hear you, but
that's why I'm taking my time, because it's hard to find a good woman. It's hard to find a good woman who can appreciate it. Like for instance, I'm into, like, I'm very affectionate, and I'm a romantic at heart, right?
Right.
So I could buy you flowers just because. But you got some women, you bring her home flowers, she be like, "Oh, what you done did now?" She be like, "I was thinking about you and I bought you some flowers." She come right up to the negative.
she's not used to it.
"Oh, baby, thank you for thinking about it."
She's not used to she's not used to spontaneous things, you know. I had a sister tell me, you know, she's not used to leadership in a man. You know what I mean? She hasn't felt that in so long. She hasn't felt the presence of an alpha male in forever. She hasn't felt it at all. So what she did was become like, you know, became the dominant, because the people that she was choosing, the people that she was choosing just didn't demonstrate any leadership or any dominance, not in a bad way, but just more so leadership, if anything. So when you say that you're spontaneous about bringing flowers to someone and they feel like you did something, they're not used to it. They're just not used to something like that. You know, you're only seeing that in a negative way because that was the only time you got it. You understand what I'm saying? That the only time you got something was somebody did something wrong. So look at how that look psychologically. Look how that plays out. That's very interesting. Hold on 1 minute.
Please leave your message for...
If a man wants to love a woman, he has to get to know her. And then know the woman, what she's experienced, and then know how to overcome those.
Okay, we're gonna have to I'm sorry, you guys. Listen, I need y'all to text the number first. Text the number first and let me know if you want to call in, because I don't want to keep interrupting somebody else's thought. So I need y'all to call in 646-776-3818 and text me and let me know, and I can connect y'all in, okay? And then we'll tell you when to call, and we'll merge you into the call. Cause I don't know, but whoever's calling the phone just keeps dropping. I don't know what's going on. And my moderator is trying to work things out. But I'm sorry to cut your wisdom.
Leslie, Kia, it's
All right.
Leslie trying to call back in. That's who it is, and her phone's messing up. So maybe I should call her on three-way.
Yes,
And
please.
then that would make it easier. So let me call her for us, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you for doing that.
Welcome, baby.
Welcome. Shout out to the chat, by the way. I'm getting ready to read your comments. I know I had mentioned that some time ago, but we going to get into it. Is she on? She's not on yet. So, moderator, can you read some of the comments?
Kia? Yeah, I'm here. Here's Auntie Leslie.
Hey, Auntie Leslie, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
All right, we kept losing you. It was dropping in and out. We were dropping in and out. Thank you, Byron. Just stay put. So you can continue where you left off from, because it's it was a really interesting build.
Yeah, I mean, with him, he's quite extreme. What I wanted to say is that a lot of men do happen to think how he thinks, but I would say that he's quite extreme.
Wow.
But most men do want women to be submissive and to obey them in everything. And we do get those lessons from the Bible. We get those lessons of what the roles are supposed to be. But when it comes to a place where your heart is starting to become uncompassionate and hard, you're falling into a really bad place there. You know what I mean? And not all men are like that. I'm not saying that all men are like that.
No.
You have
Absolutely not.
some men who really value women a great deal. But it's the times that we're living, we're just living in a very selfish time. And everybody wants to feel like they're heard and they're important.
Yes.
When you're moving around the world from of people that just, kind of abandon you or just push you to the side. You want to have, I think everybody wants to have that sense of importance.
Yes.
So, I think in a very domino effect type of ideology, things that we do and say, it is going to affect something else. And being that we're talking about African American people, just how we've been treated throughout history, we can't deny that everything that's happened to us. You know what I mean? And I think that it's very important. I think it's very important for men to be masculine, particularly in front of other men.
Woo! Yes.
And as a society, as a community, men not being able to have that respect and have that admiration for other men, you're going to fill the void somewhere else. And so I feel like a lot of African American men tend to fill that void at home.
So you making that statement and fill that void at home, a lot of men are saying since women have been for a long time, women have been saying they don't need a man, and women have been pushing fathers away from seeing their sons, and thus women are the ones who are raising the sons alone. So these same young men are growing up to being adults, and they're not functioning the way they're supposed to. So they're kind of like blaming the melanated woman yet again on the upbringing of the male child. You know what I'm saying? So once again, they're saying if you want us to do better, you got to raise us better, and you have to allow the father to be in the home. But before you give your commentary on that, I want to go back to the Great Depression, because you know, I was trying to figure out, you had made mention earlier today that before the 1920s, you said, women were more so
Yeah,
home.
before,
Okay. Can you just tell them about
yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yeah. During that time, during the Great Depression, in that time in World War II, more women were at home and they were doing the submissive role. Okay, but then World War II happened, and then you have the Great Depression, and that started leading more women to go out to work. That also seemed to be the time where men, they really started leaving the homes at that time. We just think that welfare is a way for women to gain support without abandoning the house. But welfare didn't start until the Reagan administration.
So it wasn't even a welfare. It was the men leaving the home because they didn't have no jobs.
Men
Wow.
even know way before welfare even started. It started during that era. And that was a hard era between World War II and the Great Depression. You know what I mean? It's just, and then at that time, as African Americans, the only kind of work that we could find was, scrubbing looking for, white people and cleaning their homes and
Yeah, a lot of women did that.
Was another one, and we were very, very poorly paid at that time.
What
Very
can you?
poorly paid.
Yes, women were nursing.
And it's still that way systematically.
Right. So let me ask you something. Because of that, do you feel like women are holding a grudge or have some sort of malice towards men because it's like, okay, almost like a spell. You left us for dry, so we learned how to fend on our own, and this is what it is, and you're going to have to deal with it. Do you feel like there's some sort of grudge that women are holding in their spirits, whether they know it or not, but demonstrating that? Do you feel that way?
I feel it's side. I don't feel like it's one side. That's the problem with us as a society. We feel like one side has to be right. That both sides can be right and both sides can be wrong.
This is true.
We're just not trained to think that way. We think that somebody has to have an absolute answer, and really it can be different.
Right. Well, I had a conversation earlier, and I told someone, if we continue to point the finger, because pointing the finger, we're going to make valid points. Well, in history, you're the guys who got out of the, in the 1800s, y'all went astray and y'all started sleeping with other races. And this is why we're in this problem. Well, you were disrespectful. This is why if we continue pointing the finger, I do know we're not going to get anywhere, because obviously everybody is speaking their truth, right? But it's like, at this point, all right, we did it already. This all happened in history. What are we going to do moving forward? Now, you had mentioned in statistics, melanated women actually don't really want to work. But unfortunately, we are working. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Yeah.
You can finish. I'm so sorry.
No, I was just saying, can you please elaborate on that?
I noticed, it's been my observation that I've noticed a few women, and of course, it's just being taught on a social level that, women still have the traditional idea of the relationship. Quite a few women are still saying, even though they're educated, even though they're making money, they still have it taught and in their nature to want to be at home, be a mother, and not have to carry, the whole financial burden. Most of them usually say that they want to carry maybe 25 or 30% of the financial burden.
Wow, that's...
And I'm just find it surprising with how much women can possibly make, particularly in modern times in America, that they still want to hold men to the financial expectation of carrying that Americans, only less than 15% of our men are making six figures to live comfortably.
Right.
And that's just a crazy expectation to me. That, I mean, more women are in America and politics and business than even African American men are. And they're making a significant amount of money. But, I mean, as a biblical person, that's the when you put money over attributes.
Money over attributes. So, we had made mention earlier that the highest college graduation rate is the melanated woman. So, once again, we're not good with those the numbers right now. We have to definitely pull up some information on another show. But that's kind of interesting to me. If they're the highest graduation rate, that means that they expect to be in a certain income bracket, right? To go that far in longevity to try to, to get this diploma. So I'm just trying to figure out how is it like even on the economic level we are still in the situation that we are in, and I want you to give your commentary on something. Kevin Samuels was, he was talking to men at some point, right? Prior to him really getting popular the way he is right now. And for some reason, a lot of people were saying the men weren't really backing him up or didn't really see a value in his teachings and his lessons. And I'm even hearing people are paying a great deal of money too. I didn't know that on the back end. I'm just hearing of that today. But and I heard that he also are making a lot of women feel bad. But I'm hearing he's helping. He according to him, he's helping people, and I really didn't see the testimonies on that. But I'll take his word for it. But however, when he didn't. Do you feel like the melanated woman is really the group of people that's giving him his notoriety, that's giving him his popularity? Because it was only until the women started giving him clout, calling in to where he started to go viral. Now, my thing is, where was all of those men then? Why didn't the men make him go viral? Why did it take why did it take for him to teach the melanated woman for him to go viral, and then all of a sudden now all these men want to comment, all these men are saying he's speaking the truth about melanated women? How did this process happen?
That's the crazy thing. For so many women, to be objected to his sort of ideology and the way he thinks, particularly kind of weaponizing the Bible to have people believe that his philosophy is the way it should be as far as male and female roles are considered. It's very surprising to me that so many women even entertain his platform. If you don't agree with his platform, and I was saying myself, I tried to understand him. And I do understand him on many different levels, maybe even some that he might not even acknowledge. But my thing is that regardless of what, with him being a so-called Christian man, his attitude is wrong. I would just say he's only following the verses in the Bible that he chooses. You understand what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
he prides himself highly on being a Christian man and having a Christian voice.
Oh, really? Okay.
But the women, yes, he does.
But then he always say, what do religion have to do with you choosing a man or have to do anything with relationships? I heard him say that in little small clips. So that's interesting that you said that.
But that's what a narcissist does. Whenever you bring up a good point, he's going to knock you down a bit. That's called gaslighting.
Gaslighting.
That's called gaslighting. Just like I just one of the gentlemen said that he picked Rihanna as a dime piece over Beyonce, of course, he did that in a separate conversation.
Uh-huh.
But of course, he was trying to bring somebody else down a little bit. And the one thing I can say about Kevin Sanders is he don't just do it to women; he does it to the men too. He's an equal opportunity gaslighter.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of women did their research. So, okay, all right, and so he's an equal opportunist. Okay.
Yeah. Just even some of the men have tried to come in and say that they feel like, black women, trying to stick by their man. He knocks them right down too.
Wow.
It's not. He's not bigoted about that at all. He's not partial about that at all.
Wow.
If you really watch it, he's really the same with everything.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen little clips where he went in on the men too. And believe it or not, some men totally disagree with what he's doing and the method and the way that he's doing it. It's all about how you deliver the message. Now, believe it or not, I'm not for sugarcoating anything. If you gotta tell the woman the truth, I'm all for it, whether it's gonna hurt her or not, because it's gonna help her in the long run and vice versa. So I'm not trying to say you have to sugarcoat anything, but I am aware that how you deliver your message is very important too. I want y'all guys to stay on because I want Sister Alfisha to call in because she has something to say that's really profound and it was very interesting. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can get in contact with her because she had a lot of dialogue on my Facebook feed and some people were coming at her. She agreed with a lot and people agreed with her, but it was just one particular guy that really was just, you could tell that he was in his feelings and very bitter, and it is what it is. He said, I also don't see divorce as a failure either in the black race because only 1 out of 4 black women will ever get married. Black men are getting married. It's black women that are not so. So he's saying that black men are getting married and it's black women that are not so. So are you stating that it is a black women that are failing today? So I asked him if black women are not getting married like that out of 1 out of 4 and black men are, who are the black men marrying? All right, here's Alfisha. She's calling in. Can you please connect her in? Because we're gonna get this work today. I don't think we could get her in. Can we get her in?
I can hear you.
Oh, peace. I can hear you now. How are you doing, sis? How's everything?
Peace, I'm good. I'm glad I have the opportunity to call and give my baby topic that is really dividing us.
Woo, it's dividing us. I agree. I don't see where it's helping us, but go ahead. Give your commentary. I'm all ears.
So first I would like to address the Facebook posting where the guy was looking for any opportunity to put our woman in the bad guy category. Now, I could admit that there's issues on both sides.
Absolutely.
But we have to understand, we have to look for the catalyst that's causing the issues between us.
Preach.
And one thing I've noticed that a lot of our men like to do, they like to talk about Juan and Pedro that's making $9 an hour, but they don't understand that he is communicating with his woman. He's letting her know that, hey, I cannot take care of a family off of a $9 an hour salary.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move in with Juan. Juan is also making $9 an hour.
Okay.
How about if you guys take turns watching the children? They always have food prepared, and not only that, they're welcoming other struggling people within their household so they could save and create wealth. We're not doing that. So if a man of color or a melanated man comes to us and say, hey, I'm making $9 an hour, the problem that a lot of our women would do is say it's okay because they got a job and they can take care of the child. So we are continuing to populate with men who don't have a financial plan.
Right.
Oh, sorry about that. We're continuing to populate with men that don't have a financial plan, and he's not bringing anything. He's not proposing any ideas on how to gain wealth besides having multiple baby moms. That's not solving the problem, because what happens is Uncle Sam ends up taking care of the children. So, and then the guy said, well, men are paying child support. Child support is not creating wealth. Child support is only providing the basic needs for the child.
That's why I don't even believe in it. It's not doing anything. It's not. That's not helping us. That's not helping us.
And a lot of our men is not admitting that when they get with these other women, they're moving in with their families.
Taking care of somebody else's children. That's ass backwards. It's ass
They have
backwards.
to move in with their families, and they have to build with them. That's what they're not understanding. So they're bringing them into the loopholes where they could prosper. If they go with a white girl named Kelly, her father has a job and he can hire him. There's more opportunities if they go into that loop. So what they would say is that those women are better because they have a community to support them, where a lot of us melanated women, we are alone.
We're
We
lacking
don't have a
resources. We
community.
don't have a community. You made some really interesting observations. I live in an area where there's a lot of Mexicans. I would see one woman picking up all of the little children within their groups and bringing them from point A to point B. All right. I had mentioned earlier today, these people are so great with group economics that they literally, when the place got raided, I guess from ISIS or whatever, you know what I'm saying, the Homeland Security, they literally took the stove out so that they can make room for other people to sleep on the floor so that they can practice group economics. Like, these people are really great with this. They haven't detoured from it since. They're still practicing this group economics thing. Now they can afford a little bit to be divided and get houses and stuff like that. But these people, to this day, stick together. And that's the problem. The melanated women do not have the help. Now, we know that, but they're saying that the melanated women have attitudes. They're not allowing the women to, they're not allowing the men for the help. They're complaining too much, and they're kind of like pushing the men away. What do you have to say about that?
They're complaining because they want solutions. They want solutions. It's not that they're complaining because they're miserable. They're seeing that whatever idea that's being proposed to them, or whatever the man is doing, is not going to bring wealth. And what a lot of people don't understand is that women have the foresight. Men have the muscle to lead, but women have the foresight. And many of us women cannot go to a man and say, hey, babe, you're doing something wrong, or I don't think this is going to work, because there's a lot of ego issues.
Oh,
and
my
the
God.
reason why a lot of our
Afisha,
men
can you
will
please
not
hold on
grow-
1 minute, please? I just want to tag somebody in. Who is that? Okay, I'm sorry about that. Can you go ahead?
A lot of we have a breakdown in communication even in the household,
Absolutely.
because we can't even approach our men when it comes to finances. Like, hey, how much you're earning, how much you're making. I can remember when I met this Mexican guy at the Korean store. I said, how much they paying you? He said 14. He had no problem discussing his finances. I said, how do you survive like
Let
that?
me tell
He
you.
said, I'm good.
You-
I feel vegetables.
Wait a minute, you are absolutely right. A woman walking up to a black man and asking him his finances, oh my God, that's taboo. You are right. He's not going to give you that. What you want to know my stuff for? But why is it like that? Why is it? You are absolutely
Because
right.
it's the ego. The man does not want to
I didn't
show
think
that
about
he's
that.
weak. The reason why Timothy and Mark is not going to move in with Tyrone or move Tyrone into his house is because Tyrone could be struggling, but he does not want to look like if he cannot take care of himself. Of himself.
I don't totally agree with that, sister, because some women, if they ask, some melanated women, when they ask a man how much you make, now he's judged. you can have a man who's making like $40,000, $50,000, and they be like, well, that's not enough. And he's just building his wealth or coming up on that corporate ladder.
Right.
You know, so you have it's a two-sided thing.
I want to know what women are saying that, because I feel like
another man.
Shit.
Well,
Go ahead.
Yeah, but when a woman is asked that, when a woman is asking that question, it's not because she's trying to put the man down. She's trying to have a feel of, can he take care of a family? Can he take on responsibilities? Because a lot of women that I know would ask a man how much money he's making, not to put him down, but to see where she could put in.
Right, because you don't want to go into something, because sometimes some of us can be unrealistic, right? Me as a woman, like Kevin Samuels was saying, I want a 6-figure paying man, but how many 6-figure paying men are really out there, right? Well, that goes to the same. Is he if he doesn't give his finances and it doesn't equate to what we need to do to build, then therefore, we might get stuck into something and our marriage is going to fall because of that. You know what I'm saying? Our marriage is going to fall. And the same thing with women too. I feel like women shouldn't get into marriages and relationships if certain things are not in place. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to pass a whole bunch of debt on to somebody or to a man either. You don't want to pass debt on to him. But go ahead.
Can I give an example? My daughter's doctor Singh, was 35 and a virgin when I walked in the doctor's office.
What?
He told me, yes, he told me he was proud. He said he's going to India tomorrow. I won't see him next week when I come back because he's going to get his wife. And I looked at him, and the first thing came out my mouth was, "You're a virgin?" He said, "Yeah, I'm a virgin." He went to medical school. He has a house. He lived with his parents.
Oh, my God.
We are doing something wrong. We promote hypersexuality, where everything is based solely on how many women you could have sex with, how many men you could have sex with. This man is prepared for a wife. He is smiling because he's prepared for a family. And a lot of men. Yes, but the problem is, people like to mention what our culture is, but you couldn't marry a woman if you didn't have a goat or a piece of land. Let's keep it real. Not all lions get to mate. Not all deers get to mate.
Dysfunctional. Our culture is dysfunctional and dispersed.
Woo! Dysfunctional.
So it's hard because our culture was
our new culture, because this wasn't our old culture before. Our new culture. Let's be specific.
okay. Our new culture, but the melanated man is waking up now. You even have the men on this platform that is waking up to their rightful place. You know, so now, just like you mentioned a doctor, like a man can have a lot of potential. He's making $15 an hour now, but he's also studying to be a doctor or whatever.
Yes, but if that man who has $15 an hour now gets 2 or 3 women pregnant, what if his earn?
No, see, I'm not talking, now we're talking about a different
Let's
kind of thing.
keep it real. If a young man is irresponsible sexually, and he creates children, what would be his position, his potential time he's 40? If he has 8 children by the time he's 40,
Okay,
he never got a chance to save the plan to grow. He never got that chance.
That man is still a child because he doesn't know what responsibility is and about raising children. So like that's a foolish man in my eyes who have children.
Yeah, but we're
all
talking
over
about
the-
young
and that's-
people. Young people are misdirected. Young men and women, we have such a hypersexual culture where everything is either you're naked or you're having sex. And people, the reality is only celebrities are good. The rest of us got to deal with the children in our community that are killing each other. Mm-hmm.
Well, it starts with us first. Like, let me give you for instance. I had 2 children from one woman who was my wife. Okay.
Okay.
Now, did I have sex before before marriage, absolutely. But I was sensible and used protection and this, that, and the other. So now my son, I raised my son. I now have a grandson, and he has a child only with one woman. Okay, because I've raised my child to have children all over the place. Like there's no pride in that because I raised my children that I was there every day of their life.
Absolutely.
Every day of their life. So it all depends how the man is, how he was raised. Not that I was raised in a perfect home because I was not, but when I was young, I said, I'm not going to have this in my life, and I just made a change when I was 18 years old. Because I seen a lot of my friends, they were thugs, they were stick-up men. I'm going back. I'm not older, but it was crazy. It was crazy back then. Being a thug.
Yeah, but it's only one or two of us are making it. We have to be honest that a lot of our people is not where you are.
Right. Let me ask you a question.
A lot of them have different trauma.
Right. Let me ask you. Let me ask you because there's the majority and then there's a small amount. I don't know if Auntie Leslie is still on. I don't know if she's still on, but she had made mention that even in Kevin Samuel's teachings, they're all based off of media. Like it's not reality for the average person out here. As we all know, the average person is not
it's
making.
Only 3%
right.
of black males, quote unquote, make 100,000.
Right.
So all these men that say that they're high value, they're regular people that doesn't have a sense of their own reality.
Right. They don't have a sense at all.
What's wrong with the regular person?
Hello?
Well, we're so materialistic that it's insane. You know what was insane to me? There was a friend of mine. She just graduated. She just got her master's degree. And she wanted her guest to buy her some shoes that's $1,800. Wanted to travel to another state. She lived in Florida. They lived in New York. Traveled to another state to participate in the graduation, and then wanted to buy her all these expensive gifts for her graduation. That was unrealistic because we're so materialistic. So if you drop the ego, and a couple can make it once they drop that ego thing. Okay? So, it's a matter of perception. I'd rather have, I'm going to say something that's going to sound crazy, and please, I'd rather be broke with a loving, happy, healthy relationship than rich and miserable. Rich in a miserable relationship. I'd rather me and my baby, me and my love of my life, we just making it, and we're living off of a total income of $80,000. She's making 40, I'm making 40, and we just happy because we just building each other. As opposed to I'm making $300,000, she's making $300,000, and we both miserable, trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Right, but if you're making $300,000, that means, and I don't want to say you particularly. But a lot of these men and women, when they earn a certain amount, it comes with a certain type of arrogance, where you can't speak to me this way, or I could talk to you how I feel like, because I'm no longer the same as you. I'm at a higher level. And that's what Kevin Samuel does, because he's making all this money, and he feels that he could degrade people, tell them how they look.
Well, he has the wrong spirit.
Well, he has a mental health issue, just like a lot of people have mental health issue, and that's what I was trying to get the guy to see on Facebook earlier, because he's talking about wanting to abuse children, but they have a mental health issues as well.
So let me ask y'all a question. Kevin Samuels speak about when he give his assessment. And a woman comes on his show, he always asks, what is your height? What is your weight? And how do you look? And he always asks the women to rate themselves. Do that play a role at all in building a great relationship?
Well, let me say this. Men are visual. Men are visual creatures. So
okay, let me use a term from the Bible. Okay, when God brought Eve to Adam, Adam was like, wow. You know, he was like floored on how beautiful he is. That's why pornography and all that stuff in the sex magazines, or you see a new car, a new motorcycle, there's some sexy woman next to it, because we are visual in that regard. So that's why he's measuring women in that regard. But women are have much more substance in that measurement. Like, I think it was
that's wonderful.
One of your old shows. It's one of your old shows or one of the Benita shows where, like, I had a friend of mine. This guy was skinny. He was like a real skinny rail, right? And so I'm in his car and we chilling because I'm in the aeronautics. We about to go to the airfield and fly. And so like he saw these two women pants in front of him. He said, "Oh, look at that!" I said, "Look at what? Look at those two nice women right there." And I'm not seeing what he's seeing. I said, "Where? Right in front of you." These women both were like 300 pounds. And he was like, that was so sexy to him. And I had to ask him, I said, "Hey, listen, bro, was your mother a plus size woman?" He says, "Yes." So he identified beauty through his mother because he was a plus size. You know what I mean? That was beautiful to him. And then I understood how he saw beauty because that's all he knew. You know what I mean? Now, so men are just visual. That's why this guy, and he's just an insecure dude anyhow, is he's going to measure women just on that. Because I've seen some beautiful, voluptuous women, and the minute they open their mouth, they were horrible. Horrible. Or they
But can I ask you a question? Don't you think that everyone has the right to rate themselves a 10?
Does everyone have a right to rate yourself?
Everyone has the right to rate themselves a 10.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But
And if you don't rate yourself a 10, if you don't rate yourself a 10, you have a mental health problem. That's my opinion. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best looking person. I don't really care about looks and all this other stuff. But I've heard people say, you're an 8, you're a 9. Okay? But I don't really get into I don't really care about the physical features, if that makes sense. But how you're supposed to feel about yourself. You're supposed to see yourself as a 10. You're supposed to be that confident about yourself. And what they're trying to do is to make people feel that they're less than what they're worth. You're a 2, you're a 3, so you don't deserve anybody. You could take anybody that you get because you're not attractive.
Literally.
There's no such thing as an attractive person. There's no such thing. Everyone has unique features, and that's it.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but you have some people who look in the mirror and say, "Hey, my arms are getting a little bit flabby," or "My butt is getting." They about their own selves. Or my
self-improvement is important.
But that's coming with age. That's those attributes.
Because I saw Rihanna in Manhattan. And she looks just like me. I'm not saying that I have her same face, but I did not see her as a glorified person. I've met Khalees. Khalees looked just like me. We was racing eye to eye with each other.
Well,
and her man, we know who her man was looking at me too. Whatever.
Yeah,
so
but the thing is, this man is telling people to rate themselves, and when they do, he's trying, kind of like.
But these celebrities are not all that good looking as what he's presenting them to be. Because
why is he referencing?
He met Beyonce. He said she was normal looking.
Okay, but let me say something. Why is a man who's teaching you that the average woman cannot get a 6-figure man because there's not enough 6-figure men, speaking in the same wait, speaking in the same breath and comparing a woman who comparing the average woman to celebrities who pay for certain things to look a certain kind of way. Why is he even comparing the two in the first place. So at one point, just like Auntie Leslie was saying, all of his presentation is based off of media. Is not really reality. All right? And even with the reality, anybody who has seen a celebrity will really realize that, hey, this person is no different from me. You have some women walking the street right now that don't have a dime in their pocket and as beautiful as ever, and you stand them up to a celebrity without no makeup and everything, and clear as day, some people are, right, according to what society considers beauty, is going to pick pick that person. Now this man, this is one show that I heard him say, there was a woman who I believe was around 40, looked very good, may have fit his standards as far as weight is concerned, had one son who was pretty much a teenager and was making six figures herself, and also came from a family, her father was a six-figure paying man, and she wanted to get married, but she wanted to get married, within her bracket, right? He told her that number one, she have 1 point in strike against her because she has a child, right? Although it seems like he about to walk out the door and live on his own because he's a teen, right? And number two, she wasn't qualified to seek six-figure paying men because of her age. So now it's not even about her looks, it's about her age. Now, mind you, her father is a six-figure paying man, and she works, her peers are six-figure paying men, but according to him, she can't have that. So she went as far as to say, okay, well, I don't mind having an average man, and I can help him build a business and get there. I don't have any problem with that. He said, why you just can't take the average man? Why he have to have a business? But, so what do y'all think about that advice he gave her?
Okay, I'm gonna go first. I think it's like saying Beyonce with all these children she has that she can't get another Jay-Z. She can't because she's in that tax bracket, right?
Right.
That lady who's making that 100,000, she has legacy wealth. She doesn't need someone to financially pay her son. She probably needs a mentor, And if the child has an active father, then she don't need any. Okay. So she basically has the right to demand that whatever man she wants needs to be in her bracket. But at the same time, there aren't too many men that's in her bracket. Mm-hmm. So if she's not going to date a doctor, she could date a carpenter, or she has to come to the realization that men who are wealthier than her, depending on what they want, she may not be chosen because they tend to go for younger women. Very young women,
stop right there.
Free women, no responsibility.
I don't mean to cut your wisdom, but we got to elaborate on that. I asked Auntie Leslie the same thing earlier. Men, even if you see an attractive 40-year-old, because let me tell you something, there's some bad 40-year-olds out here. I mean, that are putting 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds to shame, all right, as far as their physical appearance and as far as their beauty. Right, because they've been taking care of themselves, and so most of them can afford it, right? And are men naturally attractive to younger women? So now, if you have a 40-year-old woman that looks beautiful, her appearance is there's no question there. She's gorgeous, and then you have a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old, or let's say a 20-year-old, right? But he knows that if he didn't know the woman's age, or somebody tell him, he would probably guess that she was younger. But because he know her age, that's unattractive to him. A lot of men are like that. So I'm just trying to find out what is the mindset of that, some men. Like, why is it that they want to have a young woman? Does it make them feel good? Does it, do they feel more like do they want to mold
I think
them?
It's a mind.
Yeah.
They don't want a 40-year-old woman because she has too much experience. She knows the trickery. She knows the lies.
That's what Leslie said. He wants to mold her. Yes. Go ahead,
They want them young because I could admit I was very naive when I was 19, 18. I was very intellectually smart, but you see, street streetwise, I was very, very naive. Okay, I didn't even know what a homosexual was until I was 24.
Same
I
here.
was very naive. I didn't understand the griminess of the street.
What?
So yes, I could say when I was 25, I dated
on.
somebody who was
No,
9
I
years
didn't.
older, who I
No.
ended up having
I
children with.
I knew what
But
it was,
he
I
told me
you
that I did
didn't-
not know anything at
didn't
all,
understand how
and that was
they
the
were,
truth.
you know, until I seen the video.
Okay. And he had dated older
Even
women,
when they
always
said
dated
we
older
people have
women,
sex,
but I guess
I still
that
was curious, like,
he couldn't control them,
He-
if that
whether
makes
it was
sense.
too many- how was- right? It's very true.
That's-
Especially somebody that was in a
that's
strict
insecure guy.
environment that they didn't get
Yeah, I
the
know.
opportunity to see shit. And then jumping
That's
into
insecure
a
guy,
marriage that was a
because
strict Muslim marriage, there were
I
certain
can deal
things
with
that
a
was either no
older woman.
interest. It just wasn't.
Who's experienced in life, you know, and that's actually more preferable. Like, I don't want no 20-year-old or 32-year-old.
Y'all don't even have nothing
You know,
in common,
I
but
prefer
a lot of men do. Byron, when you give me I feel like is a very unique man, and you're a man of great substance to me. You know, I hold you in high regards, right? But I just and then I don't know if I ask you this question, is it really going to get to what my point is? Because I expect you to hang around peers that are like-minded like you. But if you can really look outside and think back when you had conversations with other men or certain other men that was outside of your community, like although you had this mindset, would you agree that a lot of men may not have the same mindset that you do?
Yes, I agree with that, but it's almost like what the lady said, is that a lot of men are sexualized. Like, the only reason they want a young woman is so they could do some, because they're just thinking about sex. It's a physical thing. You know what I mean? So, like,
But can't they have sex with older or attractive 40-year-old? I mean, what's the difference?
no, you absolutely can. I agree with what the sister said, is that a man like you wants to control. You know, even you have like that, the guy who did play, I forgot his name, the guy who did Playboy. He's 80 years old. He takes a 26-year-old. He's married. That makes no sense. I mean,
Do you think that's a disorder, a mental disorder?
Huh?
No, I was saying 80 and 20. Do you think there's some sort of mental disorder with that? Like, why is that, even a thought in his mind?
It's just crazy. Now, I don't have a problem with the older man dating a young, if that's what you want, but that's, for me, that's not when I know guys who strictly, like, if a guy that's strictly into booty, that's what, if he just, all he wants to do is to sexualize a woman, then I know where his head is at.
Right.
You know, and this, he want to control this, that, and the other. Okay, because we live in a hyper-sexualized
Society.
situation in the 1960s. But now, I it all depends on the man. It all depends on the man.
But them guys just want to have fun. They don't want to marry these women. They don't want to do anything because they know that they're naive and they would have less expectations from them besides giving them a little cash. And that's all there is. Because where I come from, if an older man dates a young woman, he has to marry her. This is in my country back in the day. If a man is 40 and he's looking at an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, a virgin, yes, sometimes they go for 15. He has to marry her. Otherwise, everybody in the community, I'm Trinidadian, everybody in the community is going to chase him down with sticks, and he has to go somewhere else. Because what he's doing is damaging her. Okay?
Wow.
He damaged her, and a lot of these older men are turning out these young girls, and now when they're dealing with guys their age, they're expecting the guy their age to give them $500-$600, and then when she asks how much you earn, and he says $40,000 a year, she's gonna tell him that he's broke because she's accustomed to an older man tricking her. You see the catalyst, the cause and effect?
Wow. Cause and effect. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because a lot of girls in high school around where I used to live, they're being picked up in BMWs and Mercedes Benz and all the big drug dealers. It's picking them up. They have
Yup.
Gucci bag, they have nails, they have lashes, they have weave. What kind of 17-year-old boy offer that girl?
You know, I had a friend, I had a male friend who pointed that out. When I was in high school, I couldn't even get any women, and that because all the older guys were coming around and taking all the young girls. He made that point. He said, so teenage men didn't have a chance at courting the women of their age because of that. You understand what I'm saying? So it's up until he get to the point where he got money and stuff, and that's when he was able to court someone and get someone, and by then they were probably mimicking what the drug dealers did and went back to the high schools and got the young women. Because I know when I was in high school, I guess maybe I was considered attractive young women, but I had the security guards trying to talk to me. I had the school dean trying to talk to me. The school dean opened up a cabinet where they would confiscate a lot of the like the beepers and the cell phones. And I remember my mother had to come in school with me for something, and he offered to give me everything in there. You know what I'm saying? So these older men are trying to, and most of the time are successful because they're throwing their money at the younger woman, and they have like zero interest. But I want y'all to hear what someone had to say and get their commentary about Kevin Samuels, because this
and look at how serious. Look at the reason why we're not being taken seriously.
I'm sorry, man. I want to make sure that they hear you. Did y'all hear what he said? I'm sorry. Can you?
No, I didn't hear it.
They can't hear you.
I said, and look at on the screen, you can see why we're not being taken seriously. So you can kiss the black masculinity, kiss that goodbye.
So he has a picture of Usher up on the screen. He has a picture of Usher up on the screen, and he's stating that this is why men are not being taken seriously. I mean, do you guys agree or disagree with that? Because just as much
I
as
totally agree with that.
okay, so my thing is, if anybody agrees with how these men are dressing, right? Well, then shouldn't I guess those are the same men who would be in agreement as another man's sexual preference being put into play in regards to giving advice to a heterosexual female or male. But anyway, let me just play it.
I don't think
Go ahead.
a person who is not in the loop should comment on what goes on, and they could give advice, but they're lacking the essence. Okay, if you hate men, you cannot tell me about a man because you have crossed over. You decided that you want women. Another woman who is dealing with a man would reason with you and say, "Hey, try and see if you could approach the brother this way. Okay, that doesn't work. Try and see if you could do this to ease the situation."
Right.
A person who's out of the loop would be cut and dry. Oh, I would never stand for that, or I would never tolerate that, and I'm going to be out. That's not a person that gives. They'll give you the right advice, but they wouldn't tell you how to fix the situation.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right.
I'm trying to explain it the best I can.
Okay.
Like when you were talking about with the cigarettes and the other stuff, you
Right.
can't really give advice if you're being hypocritical at the same time.
Right. I'm. Let me tell you something. I'm a big believer on that. So when he was saying, like, you got to remember, most counselors most drug counselors are ex-users, but they're not using anymore. Just like Umar Johnson had pointed out one time, even from a cultural aspect, that a young man was being assessed by a white lady, and she put mentally retardation on his paper because he didn't talk, and she wasn't able to identify the culture that this young man had an attitude and he don't want to talk. And Omar Johnson was better qualified to assess it, or him or somebody else melanated, because your people, your culture. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, I mean, the action is always louder than the actual words. The words have to be backed up by the action, whichever one comes first. But the action is the most important thing. So, do you have, you were in a marriage, you have experience in it, and you can tell somebody, don't do this, don't do that. But at the end of the day, are you married now? And, you gotta be a leader of your own words. You have to be practicing what you preach. But let's listen to what this lady had to say. I really want y'all to hear this because she listened to it.
Relationship advice. His gimmick is his. So Kevin Samuels is a life coach for individuals that seek relationship advice. His gimmick is his well-groomed appearance and his somewhat calm nature. Lately, I've been getting a lot of DMs from viewers asking me to express my opinion about this man. So I decided to watch several videos, and what I saw was something that was rooted from the core. His issues with black women started far back, like his hairline. One session that I watched in particular was the advice that he gave to a 35-year-old woman with a 13-year-old son and a baby daddy. The woman stated that she would prefer a six-figure man because the men that she dated in the past didn't have as much as herself. He asked, did she know any six-figure men? And she replied, yes, my dad and my uncle. Then he proceeded on to ask, do you know any six-figure men that's not related to you? Child, she answers Kevin with a no, and he says, apparently you're trying to date out of your league because these six-figure men are not checking for you. Now, even though this man be dressed tailor-made sharp, he still look like he smell like mothballs and being gay. Naturally, if a woman's male first role model is her father that so happens to make six figures, he has already set the bar for his child. So because this woman has a six-figure preference, Samuel tells this lady that she's going to die alone. Fuck nigga, who made your analyzation and observation valid? Sounds like a jackass opinionated response to me. How you feel about this woman is not the opinion of all six-figure men. One man's trash is the next man's treasure. You didn't even want to compliment or either give her credit for being a successful business owner for 9 years. And the fact that you kept stating all you black women every time you addressed her blatantly says a lot about how you feel about the sisters. You said that bitter butt hurt whack ass shit about 5-6 times. Now I'm trying to figure out what black woman fucked your soul without petroleum jelly. Fool, in that same breath you was giving advice to a white woman during the session, and not once did you ever say all you white women. Cause your lame ass knew better. You would have been trolled by every big redneck hillbilly by the name of Billy Bob. You cheesy tight pants wearing, suffocating, nut hugging, medium pants wearing ass bitch. Now looking at how you market yourself on social media signifies that you have a preference too. So are you saying as a man you can have one, but as a woman she can't? If that doesn't sound like a male chauvinistic hogwash crock of shit, you have successful strong men that get behind successful strong women with child even though they have a baby daddy. It's called an active stepfather, you Neanderthal. Every successful man is not with a dime piece, so let's stop that bullshit right now. And every successful man appearance is not a first round pick. Let me tell you something, you're the type of man that give off the impression when you're home alone you dance around in silk panties, stare in the mirror at yourself and talk dirty, saying kinky shit to yourself like, damn, I got a fat vagina. Look at this ass on me, a bitch could never. Your animal spirit is the city girls, fuck me. All y'all men need to be ashamed of yourself taking advice from a man whose bathroom medicine cabinet is full of Viagra and Beijing for his pubic hair. He talks like old limp dick ass nigga that ain't seen up in years. Your program is not to better a person, it's to tear them down and to convince and program them to think the way you think. And your agenda is definitely not to protect the black woman, so that's why I don't mind slaughtering your ass. Now, I don't know whether it was your mama that hurt you or your 7th grade girlfriend, but what you not gonna do is hold every black woman accountable for your hurt. Instead of trying to be an unlicensed advisor on YouTube, maybe you need to seek some advice, because you only attacked that woman because she interrupted your initial title of your program. Now, if that ain't some 2nd grade childish bullshit, and you clearly stated the only reason why she interrupted your program because that's what all black women do. You didn't word it that way, but that's what the fuck you meant. Nigga, you need a hug ASAP, because you didn't get those shits when you were an adolescent. You just a hurt bum hiding behind a rich facade. Oh, no.
Oh man, she laid in his ass.
Woo!
Oh,
she did it.
she laid in his ass. She read.
Let me tell y'all her name. She's very well known on. She got a large platform her damn self, and she went in. Her name is Nico. I'm a damn. She went in. You hear me? She went in. So what do you guys think about that? Because yes.
Silk panties in the mirror. That was fun.
Wow, and that was way back when she gave that assessment, before this gay stuff even started coming out, and that's what his energy was giving her. You know what I'm saying? And I did see a little small clip of him talking to some two maybe white girls or Latina girls, and he was really nice with them. He didn't really come off the way he did with the melanated, the two melanated women that I happened to watch him with, and that was kind of interesting to me too. So it's like, you can, and that was good, because she counted how many times he kept saying, "You black woman, you black woman, you black woman," in that one assessment. So it was very interesting. You know what I'm saying? She laid him out. She laid him out. But at the end of the day, it is the melanated woman that's giving this man support. So my question to you guys is, listen, you can't complain about something if you're supporting them. And also, do y'all think that there's a lot of vulnerability when it comes to the melanated woman? Because first, we turn to so many people to try to get help, and it's unfortunate that we keep falling in the wrong hands. And another thing is, the support that he get from mostly the melanated woman is very profound. So that just really goes to show how much power women have collectively, and how they can really bring a nigga to the next level. So what do y'all think about that?
Am I going to say something?
Oh,
okay,
please
so
do.
A lot of women, they don't know which direction to take. I'm not going to lie to you. Some of the things that the guys talk about, yes, I did agree. But when I realized it turned into a bashing thing, that's when I removed myself from that type of energy. I understand we have our issues, but a lot of us sisters are seeking approval because we are desperately trying to hold on to our men.
Aww.
You see what I'm saying? We have to try and understand that what we represent, we are the tampons of society. Everybody wants to use us. They want to copy us. They want to imitate us.
Right.
They want to go put the lips, the butt, the breast. They want to make their bodies look like us.
Right.
But they want to demean us at the same time. And now we have our men demeaning us. We have people of other races demeaning us. So it's a lot. And I tried to explain to the guy on Facebook earlier. A lot of our women is out of their mind. I'm seeing butts longer than my arm.
That's crazy.
Longer than my arm.
Yo.
My window. Not in Central Park. Not in a club. I'm looking through my window and I'm seeing women with butts longer from my tip of my fingers to my shoulder blade.
Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that?
And they're doing that because they want the attention from their men. No, I'm not saying that all men is not attracted to us, but it's about the mind. They want their bodies to be so outrageous that a man would fall in love with them and that he will never ill-treat them or never leave them.
So stop right there. If the woman is doing that, right? So if the woman is doing that to really keep her man and really get his attention, is the man showing
a man to get
man? Okay, to get a man to keep.
That's what's going on.
So that means that the man in some way, shape, or form is showing that that's what he wants, that he's attracted to, because you only gonna do what you know he wants. So you had to have some observation and seeing what it is, and this is what he want. Or are we delusional and we think that's what he want and we're doing it? But one or the other is happening here. Either we're delusional or he's showing that I want this figure. This is what I want. And she's going for it. And I don't see women to be that dumb. They're great observers. They know how to get these men. But go ahead.
I'm going to tell you a conversation I had with my Uber drivers, because I've been taking Uber for the past 2 years. And I saw this Boniqua with huge breasts. It had to be, I have not seen a woman with fake breasts, big like the people that you see on TV, with the out of control wearable these 24 cc's, 50 cc's bags, and she was walking around like that. And he immediately switched his head. I said, "That's a nice girl." He said, "My wife left me because I'm looking at women." He said, "My wife was a little fat. I didn't mind her fat. We had children together. But I think men separate sex from love." And you see what I'm saying? So his wife is saying, "You're looking at her, but you don't want me to get my stomach done. You don't want me to put in breast implants. You don't want me to do my butt. But every time I see that you're attracted to a woman,
This is the type of woman I see you. Wow.
Yeah, this is why these girls are doing the surgery because they cannot. They're seeing their man and looking at the man's
Yo,
eyeball,
Afisha,
the
let me
iris,
tell you something.
and they're seeing what he's looking at, and they're thinking that
This is what he
person
want.
It cannot be attracted to me.
Let me tell you something. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna speak my truth. Even with my man, I kind of got an idea of what he liked, because when I see those Roman eyes, I get to see it over and over again, and I see what draw their eyes, and that's very interesting. That's very interesting that you say that. You know what I'm saying? So now you're looking and saying, okay, do I fit that description? Or if I don't, then that's what I'm going to have to look like. For a prime example, a lot of people were saying about T.I. and Tiny. Tiny did a lot of body work, and when people started to dig and observe, because you know how people are, all the women that he cheated on her with looked like what she was trying to become. So that's very interesting that you said that. You know what I'm saying? Because I've observed that personally myself. I've observed that, and it's like you can't help but to see that. It's very interesting. Well, Byron,
But he told me he loved his wife, though, and he said he would never love a woman or give a woman his heart other than his wife. But she left. She went to the DR. She gonna get some. she
But
wanna
now,
do what she feel like she wanna do.
But that's
I
interesting
think that's
to
a
me.
big problem that we're experiencing now.
Right. Now you said that love and sex may be two different things, but that's interesting to me, because it's like you telling me you love me verbally, right? But then you're showing me something else. So like, which one is it? You know what I'm saying? Now, a man looking at a woman in a nutshell is not, that doesn't mean that he doesn't love his woman. But there are some men that they're looking, and that if they had any opportunity to get with that woman sexually or whatever, they would do so. You know what I'm saying? Even in a relationship, they would do so. But you also got to remember that there are a lot of men out here who are with women that are not their ideal woman. You know, so maybe she held him down when they were. Yeah. Okay. Maybe she held him down. We got to keep it real. Maybe she held him down when he was in jail, so he felt obligated. Maybe he had children with her, so he felt obligated. But that is not his ideal woman. If he had to pick one, that is not his ideal woman. And a lot of men are falling into that category. So now they're with you, but they're actually, you're not ideal for them. That's not what they feel like. You're not really what they want as someone to be their wives. But because of certain circumstances, they fall subject to that. And I would tell the men, hold on. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Do what you got to do, because do not be with somebody that based off of them holding you down, or based off of whatever it is. Don't let them hold you down, because you don't want to fall subject and be with somebody that's not your ideal woman, because ultimately y'all going to break up eventually. She's going to know that, and she's going to feel that. And a lot of women too throw that in men's faces, and that's not good as well. You can't say, I was with you through the thick and thin in jail. I was this, I was that. It's either you're just going to do it and help this person with no attachments, do what you can from your heart and keep it moving, or don't do it at all, because it doesn't make no sense to hold somebody, you know, because of that. And then later on, you're not his ideal woman, and you wanna boo-hoo and cry. No, it shouldn't go that way. A lot of men are not with their ideal woman. And this is why they have Roman eyes. Well, one of the reasons why.
Well, you're right with that, Kia. A lot of men are not with the ideal women, but a lot of women, they're not with their ideal guy either. It works. It seems both ways, in my opinion. What I do hate to understand.
I hear you.
So, I think you got to get past. Like, if you're in a relationship, and if he's not with his ideal woman, then he needs to recognize, okay, what other qualities does this woman bring to the table that is ideal? Like she's a 10 in her eyes, and let me see her as a 10, you know, or let me see the beauty that she's willing to display, you know. So it's because that happens a lot. You're absolutely right. A lot of people are not with their ideal people, you know.
Okay.
And it happens.
I want to read some comments.
After that,
Yeah.
sex is selling. And a lot of these men is willing to buy it.
Let
Sex is selling. And that's what it is. And a lot of these men ain't got no problem investing in it. Because
since we don't want to be,
special aspect.
are women buying sex?
But our communities is at a point where there isn't no substance at this point.
No
Even if you
principles.
go to the Caribbean, it's the same thing. It's prostitution all over.
Do you know men are flying to Dominican Republic for that?
Even in Africa.
That's
Even
crazy.
in Africa, them chicks have their whole bodies done.
Yo,
in
that's
Africa.
crazy. In Africa, I never.
That's being, huh?
I can't believe in Africa because those are very shapely women. Say it again.
I went to Africa. I went to Lagos. The hotel where I stayed at, it was an upscale hotel. I was there on business. And there were so many women there looking for men, and they were prostitutes. Beautiful African looking. Some African women had African features. Okay, so and they were beautiful, but it was full of them. It was literally full of prostitutes, you know. And I was like, wow, this is amazing.
It's crazy.
And that's what it is. So again, it's like, to me, I want to sound kind of wimpy, but prostitutes scare me because I don't want to die. I don't catch no disease.
Yeah, but it's legal now. You know that, right?
Okay, I wanna.
It's legal. They're legalizing these things.
Well, they've always been around. Prostitution is.
But a lot of these guys don't care.
Byron, men are flying out to DR just for prostitutes. But I want to read some of the comments, and I want y'all to give me some commentary. Okay, Carl Victorian said, like Kevin said, all kind of 9s and 10s. So here we go with the ratings of women again, right? 9s and 10 type women be chasing the high value men, and that high value men don't want an average looking woman. I agree. He agrees to that. So he also stated, if a woman don't look attractive, especially in the face and shape, she's not ideal to me. Truth needs no apology. So once again, what would be your idea of attraction? I mean, so if a woman is born with a broad nose and she can't help it, I mean, that's not so that means that she doesn't deserve a man. I'm not sure where you're going with that at, but please call in. He said high value men seeks 10s and better, period. He said high value men seek 10 and better, period. So I need you to give me your definition of a high value man. Okay, and I also have another question for you.
To give you the definition of a 10 as well.
Yes, I want you to give a definition.
Normal without makeup.
Right, I want you to give me a definition. A definition of a 10. I would like for you to give me a definition of a high value man, and I also want to ask you: Are there any high value women as well? Okay, so let's go on. Yipe CEO said boys play with boys and vice versa. I have never seen boys stop playing football just to give a girl advice on how to be a better cheerleader. Men are men. Okay, Carl Victoria said he was right. She wasn't attractive at all. I don't know if you're referencing to the young lady that had one child and he was giving her his assessment, but you know, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. That woman was not a bad looking woman. Carl Victoria has a lot to say. Okay. Only 3% of high value men out here. So he advised her the way she looks. High value men would pass her by. So he advised her to give an average man a chance and stay in her league. If you're referencing the same video, once again, she didn't mind having a man that made less than six figures, but what she wanted was him to have his business so she can help him become six figure. So I'm not sure where you're going with that at. She never disagreed. All right. Yipes CEO, there is a difference between advice and guidance. Very important. And so one that's single can only offer suggestions, opinions, and advice. I like that. While those that are happily coupled provide the accurate guidance and insight. Wow, that's very interesting. Carl Victoria said that six-figure woman was not attractive at all. Kevin Samuel was right. She might die alone because she wouldn't date an average man anymore. So that's another thing. Would you die alone because you're not with a man? You know what I mean? I mean, especially if you have a child.
People don't know what is substance. I'm going to keep it real. Really rich. Look at Bill Gates' wife. Rich people, very rich people, marry rich people. This is what a person, I'm not going to say he's low economic, but just regular, with, like, I don't know how to explain it. A lot of these rich men with these rich, the females is not the best looking woman.
Look at Bill Gates' wife. Look at Bill Gates' wife. She looks like is she attractive? And let me ask you a question. They got a divorce now. Is she
comes from money?
Is she going to die alone? And is he? So let me ask you a question. What about if a six-figure man don't get married? Is he going to die alone? So I'm not understanding why is
a lot of money.
It really isn't. It really isn't. But let's.
It's not a lot of money.
But this is what you called high value. So this man is like.
He is selling delusion.
Okay.
Rich people marry rich people. They would never disgrace their family.
Well, we know that.
If they're really rich. Now they're only once in a while you would see a lockup. But that woman has to have certain qualities besides beauty to be accepted into that family, or the man is an outcast. But the reality is they're not marrying us like that in no race.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. What advice is Kevin giving the men? The men who don't earn six figures. So are they also being rated? And are they also being told to get an average woman or a so-called 6 or 7? So let me ask you a question. I want to know what you have to say about that, Carl Victoria, and it'd be great if you call in, because I'm trying to figure out what is he telling the men. Because even though he speaks to the men, he's not doing it at all as much as he's doing it with the women. So I need you to call in and let me know.
I remember a lot of men who are not mentally stable. Like Sasha Tekeo did a video of a guy calling a woman, oh, she don't know what it is to deal with a high value man. She doesn't know men like him. And then she showed a Facebook post that he did, and he's showing the money, talking about he got his stimulus check, and he needed it. I'm not saying nothing wrong with being regular, but a lot of our men are so broken that they hold on to wealth because they know in reality most men want to have that status, being able to provide and other stuff. So he's basically reaching out to emotionally broken men and giving them hope. But it's a false sense of reality because they don't have the money. They have too much against them to make the money, and the only person that could unite with them in order to create the money, they're going against. So I had said this
very interesting.
Maytown and a lot of these male talk shows and the men clubbing together, because I had to send someone a video, and I'm going to send it to you here, where the guy who invented the alpha male, he tried to admit and take his own books off the shelf to say he was wrong. What he thought was two males one male conquering another male. It was basically a female wolf, a male wolf, and two offspring. He was wrong. It wasn't no man leading a pack. He thought what he saw was a male wolf leading another wolf who's a male, a younger male behind him, and then two other younger males. But after years later, it's a family.
Very
It's
interesting.
a family of wolves. And I would send you that video and you will see it.
Oh, but that's the thing that
So,
what Auntie Leslie was talking about.
If you're a strong man, you should not have to cower underneath another man to give you social advice. Some of these dudes, every word that comes out their mouth, they sound
They quote
like
Kevin Samuels.
repeating.
That's the
Repeating
thing.
everything.
And they
You
think
could be
they
a
making
man and have your own brain.
so
It's
that
almost like you're a robot.
so that should be a whole nother question. Do an alpha male mimic every last word that comes from another alpha male's no. Well, basically, do a man, because at the end of the day, is a man that quotes everything that comes out of another man's mouth actually an alpha male. You understand what I'm saying? Because
But the true definition of an alpha male is a man who's able to lead a family. That is the true
That's the definition.
I would send you the information. The author made a mistake.
well, since you said
If
that,
lead a family. Actually, it's a white a nature observer person who studied animals, was living in the wild with wolves. And he wrote that book, I believe, in the 1960s. So when I send you that information, you would see for yourself that he made a mistake. So a lot of these men who are saying they don't need women, they don't need families, they don't need anything, is actually the beta male. Sorry. But in reality, men who are considered beta, they live longer
wow,
and they get more access to sex
yo,
than men who are very aggressive and controlling. They usually turn off, they don't get along with women. So what you're
Alphisha.
seeing is alpha males who are actually beta males shaming other men for wanting to create families.
Alphisha, if what you said is true about the
You know,
definition
let
of
men be tipping Kevin Samuels.
what I was just about to
They're not
say.
even giving their child money.
I was
They
just
all baby money.
he's not giving his bed. That's a whole nother topic, and these men are following him. But you just hit something on the nail. That means that every man that's quoting him verbatim and following his every movement, and even some men. I just heard today that men pay up to $10,000 for his advice. That means that those men are not alpha males, because an alpha male would never go ahead and allow another man to tell him what to do. Now, granted, you can give advice, but these men are clearly quoting everything he's saying verbatim. Even somebody here on this panel, I'm shocked to hear that, but I thought that that person would just be like, all right, well, he told some truth and keep it moving. So that means that a high percent of those men following him are not alpha men. They're not alpha males. And that's okay. Now, I've heard men come up there and say this is bullshit. And I'm going to read what somebody inboxed me. I'm not going to give his name, but, I value.
You can't say I'm saying bullshit because you know me. I can pull that fact.
Yeah, but he tried to come. He tried to come with statistics. He tried to come with all this stuff. But
the original creator is the one, and even when you go back to Greco-Roman time, when the alpha beta was used, it was for boy and man. So if you fall in a man, you must be a boy.
woo.
That's what it means. And a different type of boy, okay?
Now look at what this alpha male.
Sorry, I'll keep quiet.
Look at what this alpha male had inboxed me, because I had tagged him into my post so he can give his commentary. He said, dude is running a scam. Please don't tag me in any of his posts. And I personally know him. Okay? He said, you know the answer to your own question. Why tag me in this? He's telling me this because I tagged him in. Because I know the answer. I know what I see, and I know what I'm hearing, and I heard it from the very first time that I listened to him. Anyone who has the melanated man and woman's interest is not going to be so out front with stuff. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be in the private. In fact, I'm hearing his first post on YouTube were like private Zooms that he posted up, and women are suing him for that. But y'all not paying attention to that because y'all saying it doesn't matter because y'all in y'all feelings because y'all didn't have great relationships for women. So now he's saying something to ruffle your feathers. But this man went on to say, you know the answer to your own question. Why tag me in? And he said, why waste your energy on dudes' distraction? Our people are so silly with this. You don't know when your energy is being used. Shaking my head. The more y'all talk about this weirdo, the bigger he gets. This is coming from an alpha male.
Did you hear what Charlemagne,
Okay.
DJ Envy said about Kevin Samuels when he met him a year ago? He did not have that personality. Who's it? DJ Envy? Who's the
It was DJ Envy. It was DJ Envy. I heard him say what he said. Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
He said he was his salesman outside.
Gotten a status that changed his personality. He finally made it. He finally got a piece of the pie, and now he gets to step on everybody. That's what our people do anyway. You get your money, you move out the hood, you know. You get your money, you talk down to your relatives, you talk down to your family members. He's displaying the same toxic behaviors that we ourselves have within our own family. Okay? We got family members so touched they won't even talk to you on the phone. We know.
Right.
You see what I'm saying to you?
Right. I wanna close out, and
okay, sorry.
I want to close out, and I want y'all, because at the end of the day, we have to give a solution as to what we need to do to move forward. Obviously, his teachings, I don't mind him coming on the platform. I'm on YouTube now. You know what I'm saying? We trying to get somewhere and get change. You know, so when I see people coming on YouTube and saying they have a passion about something, I tend to, you know, already have a red flag up. You know what I mean? How passionate you are to be coming on a big platform like this. That's number one. But right now, you know, I want to close out because I don't want, this show has already been lengthy, but I want some solutions here. So I have one question. One question is Kevin Samuels teaching helping us? Or is it dividing us more male and female? And also, what are some of the solutions that we can try to do to kind of bring us back together? You know, that beautifulness that Byron is talking about. You know what I'm saying? To where we're rebuilding our homes and doing the right thing with one another. I really want to see that. But unfortunately, every time somebody come about, it always divides us. You have all these memes talking about men. You have all these memes talking about women. And even, like Auntie Leslie said, people don't even realize how much we're falling subject to it, even the conscious ones. You know, I had to check myself so many times with my bitterness. And I know I've come a long way, you know what I'm saying, as far as my thought process and my consciousness, but even sometimes you fall subject to that. You'll see a meme that says men ain't shit, and you go, yeah, you right. You know what I'm saying? This is all propaganda. So what are some of the solutions? Hello?
That's going to take a whole show in itself.
Okay, for the solutions?
Well, I could say this. One of the solutions is we need to stop blaming each other. And we have to acknowledge what is the catalyst for. We all know what's the catalyst. Like someone said today on Facebook, when a person is of a certain age, they're supposed to know better. That's not reality.
It's not.
People get damaged at any age. And I think that we need to stop putting a limit on somebody else's pain. You're supposed to acknowledge and say, you know what, that person is not well. Let's try and make that person better. Let's give that person the right advice. But we are so, we make a lot of money too in our communities from tearing each other down.
Shit, we make money.
This one got a better house. This one got a better shoes. This one got a better car. And it's a constant toppling on top of one another.
Okay. Auntie Leslie,
Another
Byron, go
thing,
ahead.
you don't want to acknowledge your own faults, your own insecurities.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Take the beam out of your eye before you cast it on somebody else. Look in the mirror. You know, are you measuring up to all the complete standards that you're putting out there? So, you know, you got to look at yourself too.
Yo, accountability, that's a good one. Auntie Leslie, are you still on? Okay, well she's off. So I'm gonna close with what Yipe CEO said. He said the solution is simple. Ladies, never take relationship advice from a man, especially a single one. That's the solution. You know what I'm saying? As long as you don't take the advice from that, then you're good to go. Listen, man, we have a lot of open discussions. I can't thank you guys enough for coming up here. People thought that this was going to be something crazy and bashing people. We're not here to bash anyone. We're not here to harass anyone. We're just here to learn and build. But unfortunately, it's going to take us, somebody else wrote, let's just love each other. Yeah, man, I mean, loving is great. Love is the highest frequency and vibration on the earth, but unfortunately, it's going to take more than that. It's definitely going to take more than that, because we've been saying we love each other, but that's not working. What is going to work? That's not working. We keep being so divided. How is this happening? All right, we spoke about the Great Depression and how things made a big turnover, but how do we get back to like the respect that we used to have to with one another, and we used to be home no matter what, and we used to make it happen? Carl Victoria said, Kev speaks a lot of truth about the women and is waking them up. Well, that's your opinion. You know, I mean, you keep that's one-sided.
And to be prostitutes.
But that definitely.
To present themselves for a man, and that's why all these women are getting these surgeries and everything.
But what about the
Because
men?
they're trying to present themselves.
What about the men? What is he telling the men? He said that Kevin speaks a lot of truth about the woman and is waking them up. Waking the women up? All right, well, if that's what you see from that, then okay. I mean, I don't see that. There's a lot of bitterness now. You got a lot of men saying, he's right. These black women is this. These black women is that. And a lot of black women like, what are y'all talking about? We've been struggling. We've been doing that. So I'm not quite sure. Where are the testimonies as to where he's waking them up? And to be honest with you, he's not saying nothing different than that we don't already know. You understand what I'm saying? Okay.
He's advising 16 to 1 to go after 3% of that one.
From the
woman to one man, and then he's advising out of that 1%, only 3% of men making 6 figures.
And that's what he's advising.
One woman is going to change themselves to chase 1% of the men, while the bulk of the men, which is the 80% who's not making that money, will have to go to other races of women. That's what's going on now.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's the advice that he's giving. Because if you want to get someone, like the lady who he told that she would die alone, she doesn't have to die alone. She would have to just deal with a man who's making less than her, because most men is not making what she's making. Either she wants a relationship or she's looking for a business partner. And a lot of women do choose the relationship. I know doctors that date janitors. I know that too. Husband is a janitor, and she is happy.
I do too.
Okay. So, what you're looking for? A woman who's making a certain level of money, she can't expect a man to meet her expectations financially. It's impossible. She's already did that for herself. So she has to be looking for something else.
Right.
Does she want a family, or she wants a multi-millionaire who is not going to directly look at her because there's a million other women who's trying to get to that one man? He's creating single women.
This is very true.
Work with the man next to you and build from there. Whether he wants to take the lead or you bring your ideas, or if he likes your ideas, he lets you take control or whatever. But we have to stick with what we see in front of us. All these women are going to Dubai to be shitted on.
This is very true. I know a man who's a janitor who dated a police officer, and although I don't want to reference this because this goes back to the media, but even look at Nicki Minaj. You know what I'm saying? Look at what she decided to, to go with, and I see a lot of that happening. So I'm really confused as to how his teachings are really helping outside of, we may have a little attitude here and there that we need to adjust or whatever the case may be, but for the most part. And not only that, like Byron said, this double standard stuff. You keep saying he's waking the women up. What about the men? There are a lot of, I don't know what the definition of simp is, but a lot of people keep referring to the simp. There are a lot of men out there that are boys. Like, so what's going on with that too? I just want a message to be conveyed to where it's bringing us together instead of dividing us. That's my goal. That's what I want to see. You understand what I'm saying? Now, speaking the truth about certain things to get there, I have no problem with that. But if you're going to bash people in the process, that's not helping. All you doing is putting up some more walls. If a woman already have a preconceived notion about a man based off of her experiences and don't think that her mother and her grandmother and her aunties and her cousins' experience is not her own, so what are you already doing? You come in there and you start yelling, you start saying this when that's not her reality. All you doing is validating for her that certain men are jerks, and you're going to put up more walls. How is that helping her? Even for a melanated man, the same thing. And I come to see that a lot of men who are commenting are not in relationships, are bitter. And now the ones that they were in, Kevin Samuel is giving them some hope and stuff like this. I had a brother
But those men are not going to get picked.
They're not.
Those men are not going to be picked.
But those are the ones who follow Kevin.
A piece of candy a day. I know white girls upstate that eat a yogurt a day, and she is not going to date any and anybody. I know them, and they travel in teams. They're going to Wisconsin. They're going to Montana. They're going to look for rich white men, but they eat a yogurt a day. And when a woman invests in herself, her physical appearance, and she looks like she could get a high-value man, she is not going to look at the average Joe, and that's what's going on.
And let me ask you this one: when she do get him, how is she going to treat him? He's probably going to be 40 years older than her.
Anyway, because he doesn't know what a woman is. He's looking for cosmetics.
Ooh.
So he's looking for arm candy. He's not going to keep her. We had this discussion a few weeks ago about how these women will be rotated into a system, and then they would have no choice but to go back to the men that wasn't high value.
Yo, that's crazy.
To look for husbands. He's creating single families.
But look at this. There was a movie where Halle Berry was in, where there was an arranged marriage. She was way younger and gorgeous, and the man was older, and they kind of predicted that she was going to be with him, and when he died, he was going to leave her all of his wealth. So that can play a role too. If you have a 20-year-old eating a yogurt a day and she's trying to look for a rich man, if you want to go with Kevin's statistics, are in their 50s and 60s, how much longer do they really have to live anyway? So she's going to hang in there, make sure she still stay beautiful, make sure she let him know other niggas are going to look at her, and then all of a sudden, until it's time for him to go bye-bye, she's going to enjoy her wealth and be with the man that she desired. How about that?
But look at Anna Nicole. Anna Nicole Smith was a very beautiful woman. White woman, I could say, okay, there's beauty in everyone.
Of course.
But look what happened to her when she thought she got that bag.
But look what
she thought she was going to get that bag.
But she almost did. But look at what she did. She wound up being with the man.
With the guy's family.
Yeah, he didn't sign she didn't get enough chance to sign over that paperwork to him. You know, I mean, she didn't get enough chance to convince him to sign that paperwork over, but she almost got it until that child wound up not being his. And remember, she was with the man she really desired, which was her lawyer friend on the low. You understand what I'm saying? So most of the time they are going to get that money. They're gonna have them men sign over all that paperwork. They're not gonna treat him right in my eyes. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think they're gonna really treat a man because they already have, you're old. What do you want to do with me or whatever? And once they get the bag, they out. They out.
Those men are not giving their money to these women like that. They're getting a small percentage of the money. These women are marrying, signing prenup, looking for alimony, and it's only a few percent of them. Look, okay, I know.
So if that's the truth, then what the hell is Kevin Samuels talking about then? That's the truth.
Portia Williams did to her friend in Atlanta with the African millionaire. He married his wife for what, 2 years?
Uh-huh.
And Portia looked better in his eyes. And he left his wife for Portia. He didn't care. And a lot of these women, no matter how good you think that they look, they're getting left by these men.
Okay.
You see what happened with Portia?
Yes.
Portia is dating this rich African who was her friend. And there's no loyalty either. Her friend's man.
And guess what?
He has money and could buy her.
And guess what? She's going to he's going to find somebody else and do it again. He's going to find somebody else who's going to do it again. He's going to find somebody else and do it again. And then guess what? Who is his money really going to go to? Probably the last woman that he's going to be with.
Africa, his family in Africa. We all know that.
Tell you know, I know, girl. You know, I know. You know, I know that's where that's going. I have a personal experience with that shit. All of that is going to his family in Africa. So it's like the moral of the story, like these guys, is just, I mean, we're divided. We're divided. And now Kevin Samuel has these goons that's backing him up. These men that are not alpha male, that's like quoting everything. And I mean, what he's saying, we already knew for the most part. So, like, that's very interesting. And now, all of a sudden, the men who he was supposedly teaching before he got to the woman wasn't this headstrong on his words. Now, all of a sudden, it's valid now. I don't get that. Why didn't the men make him popular since he started with that? It took the woman to make him popular. It took the woman to get him up there. Now all of these men want to come and follow and go, yeah, he's right. So once again, it's like the battle of the sexes. We already got other wars that we're dealing with, spiritual wars, physical wars, medical wars, and now and we still have the war between the melanated man and woman. Like, how crazy do we look? Shout out to Yai CEO, man. I appreciate you holding us down and loving us. I appreciate that. I appreciate you demonstrating and being an alpha male and thinking on your own, even with our flaws. And I have one more thing to say. Some men have a fantasy to be with women outside of their race. Like 50 Cent says, or like men want exotic women, right? So his definition of exotic is opposite of what he normally is seeing, right? Do you think that some black women, we do have some flaws, we do have some things that we need to brush up on? Do you think that the black man is using her downfalls as an excuse to be with women outside his race, although that's what he desired in the first place? Okay, I come across a lot of women who are submissive, who doing everything they do, and they get the short end of the stick at the end of the day. The man is not being responsible. He see a piece of ass, he's ready to run off. He's not really taking care of home. And even back in the days with the OGs and all of that stuff, and the big drug dealers, even if they had mistresses, they always took care of home first. And that principle is even gone. So, like, what are we even doing here? Do you think that some men have a desire to be outside their race and they're using the melanated woman's downfall as an excuse to be with other races? That's a good question.
I can't even comment on that. Is he going to comment first? Because what I'm going to say is, a lot of these men who have desires to do these things, it's like what I said earlier. not all lions get to mate. We have a false sense of reality in our communities of what a man looks like. And unfortunately, the beta male, the man who's disrespectful to women, the man who likes to be underneath other men who group together, there's men who prefer to work with other men than to work within their own family. They prefer to go off in a pack. Let's say it like that. Okay? And a lot of us women are trained to see that men who don't show us the right emotions is what a man is. That's what...
Because that's what they see in media. And that's what they see in media. That's what they see in books. The fantasy, just like you said.
But a lot of these other guys, they can't compete with the guy that's getting the attention.
Right. A lot of men have
They don't
insecurities.
want to get to have sex with a woman that they want to have sex with. In our own communities first. They get rejected first here. We have to keep it real. I have a friend whose brother has a white wife. But I already knew he would have a white wife. And me and my sister-in-law was talking about it, about my niece, how she's so well educated. She want to put her in a school where there's more people like her that look like her, that speaks like her. But unfortunately, where she lives in her community, it's very dysfunctional. You see what I'm saying? But I told her, don't give up, because she's scared that my niece would date out of the race. You understand what I'm saying? Send her to Morehouse, send her to Spelman, try to get her around people that look like her, that think like her. And maybe she would find somebody within her own group. So we don't have that type of selection. We have men getting rejected where they are, and the only person that can actually appeal to them or understand them through their rejection from us first is other races of women who were rejected from their own race. A lot of these women white women who date black men, I should say, are rejected or outcast from their own race itself, where their fathers don't talk to them, or they were molested, or it's a lot of psychological. So two broken people coming together.
This is very true. This is very true.
Or she's too fat for a white man to like. She's too heavy because they usually let them sweat. If she got a little ass, a big ass, too much meat to spread, too much cheeks to spread, she's not going to get that white man to desire her, because in their standards of beauty, in their community, they prefer the blonde, the blue eyes, the slender, A-cup, childlike woman. Okay?
Childlike woman. And this is very true. This is very true. I work with them downtown, and a lot of them now are falling subject to the little big butt stuff or whatever. The big butts. They liking that because, at work, I would see the white men stand outside, like if they're doing construction or whatever. And when a woman with a big butt walked by, they would turn their heads. And I was observant of that, like, oh, okay, they starting to like the big butts now, because because what would turn their heads was the childlike woman, the woman that really didn't have too much breasts and just looked like a damn little girl. You know what I'm saying? But now things are changing a little bit. Things are definitely changing. Somebody wrote in my Facebook comment, so he said, give the come on brother, give something to okay, I said let me read it. He said he fell with women, but apparently he knows what men want. So yeah, why can't he tell women how to please men? He's doing it, right? He's doing it himself. He's pleasing men himself, so he's best qualified to tell you what men want. I don't understand that, but it was a funny comment. You know what I'm saying? But in closing, I just thank you guys for coming on and chopping it up with us. Don't forget to hit that like button. This is our new channel, so don't forget to subscribe. I hope that this live will give some insight to some people out there in regards to Kevin Samuels or any person at this point trying using the narrative that they're trying to help, you know, our people get to a better place, you know, or give any kind of relationship help. So I really hope that, you know, somebody can take this and really evaluate what are they doing here. You know, I don't expect nobody to listen to me for marriage because I'm not married anymore, and I'm not gonna. I don't give. You know, I can give advice on something, but I can't give no professional, definitely suggestions because I'm not in that situation, and obviously I failed at it. You know, I can give you my experiences, but that's about it. Anyway, thank you, Afisha. Thank you, Byron. I definitely will see you guys next Thursday. We have another hot topic. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get chewed with that hot topic again, like I did on Facebook. But it's all good. It's all for the name of love. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for chiming in the House of Harlem studio.
All right, great show.
Thanks.